Hello, gaming fans. The Yakko Warner here. And you know what? The only thing that we listen to in the water tower is Power Trip Gaming with
Paul and Andy.
Let me start again. That was Yakko freaking out. You can keep this part too. Yakko's probably had a little too much to drink. Okay, here we go. Take two. Power Trip Gaming.
Power Trip Gaming, yeah.
Hello, game freaks. The only thing we listen to in the water tower is Power Trip Gaming with
Paul and Andy.
Shit! Now you can keep that too. All right, Yakko just swore. That's going to be another. I don't want you to erase this.
No.
Keep it. This will be funny. When I'm dead and gone, you're going to say, listen to this. Rob Paulson recorded this for me, and he couldn't even get
Paul and Andy.
Paul and Andy for God's sake. All right. Try it again. Power
Trip Gaming.
Power Trip Gaming. Okay. Hello, game freaks. Yakko Warner here. The only thing we listen to is Power Trip Gaming with Paul and Andy when we're here in the water tower. Isn't that right, Pinky? Oh, that's absolutely right, Yakko. I can't even begin to take over the world until I say, Nerf, with Power Trip Gaming and Paul and Andy. Anybody else want to try to screw this up? Yeah, how about me, Raphael, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Paul and I just had the most fabulous hot fudge, marshmallow, tuna fish, and Doritos pizza. Now he's going to go share a piece with Andy while we watch Power Trip Gaming. Turtle Power!
Well, guys, we're back again on Pokemon. Oh my God, what's going on, boys?
I don't wanna.
I know you haven't left. Paul, how are you? Nice. Good contribution. It's a podcast. People can't see you. All right, nice job, buddy.
No. I wanted to one up you. I had no idea how to do it though.
You never do. Kevin, how are you?
It goes. I don't know.
It goes. Yes, it does. So
It goes.
that was Rob Paulson in the opening. Paul, explain that story to us. What the fuck is wrong with you today? Come on.
What?
Okay, so
The opening.
Oh,
Rob Paulson.
okay.
I'll explain it.
I get it.
Paul went to something. There was
Okay.
lots of people. He met Rob Paulson. Talked to him. Guy was awesome. Recorded for us.
Was.
End of story.
Yeah, so I went to the Chicago Comic-Con. Oh, shut up.
No, it's fine.
My version was better.
What the fuck is wrong with you this morning?
I don't know. I'm not on my A game.
Oh,
not on my
yeah.
A game.
Did he use his brains when they cut the hair?
I don't know.
Stop it.
Sorry, cut this out.
So I went to the Chicago Comic-Con in 2018, and Rob Paulson was there, and I decided to get a.
Who is Rob Paulson?
So
For
Rob
people who
Paulson.
don't know. I mean,
Rob
we got
Paulson-
some young listeners.
Yeah, we got some young listeners. So Rob Paulson is a prolific voice actor who
Yes.
he really kind of rose to stardom in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon from 1987. He actually did the voice of Raphael. And he also did several voices in Animaniacs. He was Yakko Warner.
Yeah.
He has been in the new TMNT cartoon as well too, which is ironic.
Is he
'cause-
really?
Yeah, he plays the voice of Donatello, I believe.
Oh, that's a weird change.
I know it's yeah for the purists out there who grew up with the old cartoon. It's so weird to hear him as somebody else now.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's done a lot of voiceover stuff, a lot of like video game voices and all this other stuff. He's got a very iconic voice. And so he was at the Comic-Con at a booth, and I decided to get a Turtles mask that I wanted to have him sign. And then he said that he would do like a voice over recording, and so I'm like, oh man, you know what? We should do something for the show. And he did this the voiceover recording. It's so funny because he said, okay, so what am I doing this for? And I'm like, Power Trip Gaming. He's like, okay. And I'm
What's
like,
your names?
with Paul and Andy, he's like, okay, Power Trip Gaming, Paul and Andy. And then he started trying to record it. And he just kept on forgetting.
It's
Like Paul and Andy. And every
So
time
funny.
he's like saying, listen to Power Trip Gaming with And then he would look at me. I'm like, Paul and Andy. It's like, shit. And for somebody who has grown up with Rob Paulson,
Hearing him swear is the best
he
thing
never
ever.
swears. He never ever swears. Hearing him say a shit, I was standing next to him. I had to turn around. I had to cover my mouth because I'm like, I am dying right now. And
Especially because he did the shit in voice. Too.
yeah.
Yeah, that was really funny.
Well, and it's so funny because I kept thinking when he first did that, I'm like, oh, he's gonna end the recording. He's gonna just re-record it because he's like, I can't have this going out. And he's like, no, you're keeping this. We're keeping this in. And then he did it again. He's like, Power Trip Gaming with. And he looks at me again. I'm like, Paul and Andy. He's like, for God's sakes. so it was just so funny and just being so close and how you ever go to a convention where you want to meet somebody but you're kind of terrified at the same time, where it's like you've built up this idea of how wonderful this person is and how they've kind of I don't know, they've been with you through your childhood, and you just kind of grown up thinking this person must be really awesome. I can't wait to meet them in person. And then you meet them, and they're a complete opposite of what that is.
Well, that's like that old adage: never meet your heroes.
Exactly.
Yeah. And no, I honestly can't. I can't relate to that.
But
that's honestly, you've never been to any sort of
you've never been to you've never really been to many.
I've been to a lot of conventions, but I
don't think you've ever actually met people.
I've never really had that experience, like you said. I've grown up with a certain person that does this, and then you idolize. I don't have human idols.
No. Well, I'm just saying though. It's like I grew up watching Turtles. Obviously, yeah. Rob Paulson being an iconic character. I mean, he was the voice of Raphael through every single episode, save maybe one or two.
Yeah.
But when I actually met him, I was somewhat terrified. I'm like, God, what if he's not actually not as cool, not as nice in person? And it was the complete opposite. He was absolutely the nicest guy I have ever met. So down to earth, so humble, and it was probably one of my most vivid memories, although it was only last year, but it's still, I think that even down the road, 5-10 years from now, it's going to be one of my most vivid memories from any convention that I've ever been to.
That's cool.
It was just amazing.
Even more than the person who did the Christina all my hams or whatever the fucking thing was. Well, I don't know. I never remember the fucking thing.
Catherine Allingham.
There we go. She's a fictional thing, but who was the thing? Who was the writer or whatever? What the fuck was it?
I never met the writer.
No, who did you meet? Somebody.
Mark Wade.
No, god damn it. It was when you went with our friend that
you're talking about.
You were a couple.
You're talking about Serena Vincent.
I don't know who that is. She's probably why I forget this story all the time. I wasn't there.
So let me clarify here.
There we go.
Catherine Allingham is a character from a miniseries, a comic book miniseries from 2009 that was written by Mark Waid called The Unknown.
Okay,
absolutely,
maybe that's what that was.
Absolutely love that story. And for some reason, Andy keeps thinking that every woman that I ever meet
is Christina Allingham.
Is Christina or Jessica Allingham.
I don't know where the Jessica comes from. Just make sure.
And I'm like,
I do. You're an idiot.
I'm like, why? It is like, oh, tell me about Allingham.
Allinghams.
And I'm like, who are you talking about? Well, that girl, the Christina.
I keep thinking it's a real person.
Christina who? I don't know who you're talking about. Well, that girl when you were at that con.
Stop. I can't.
I've been to many cons. Which con are you talking about? The one where you went with our friend. I went to many cons when we've had friends.
The same thing every time.
My God.
That's pretty great.
And the words of Rob Paulson, for God's sake.
I can't. All right, never mind. So who's Serena Vincent?
Serena Allingham.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my God. It's Serena Vincent.
What was she?
I swear, we've talked about this.
We have, and I always forget every fucking time because it's not relevant to me because I'm not in it.
So Serena Vincent was at a convention that I went to with our friend, who was basically shadowing me around like a dog.
Yep.
But I mean, I was okay with that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was actually her big claim to fame. She's an actress, but I think a lot of people know her for the movie Cabin Fever. She was in a movie called Cabin Fever.
Now this is starting to ring a bell.
Yes, but she's also been in other movies too.
Yeah.
Usually she's not a star, but Cabin Fever, she was one of the stars, the leads of the movie. But the first movie that I'd ever seen her in was a movie called Everybody Wants to Be Italian.
That's right. Yeah, we have talked about this.
Yes,
and I've made the joke.
And it was a comedy. I ended up really liking it. It was stupid as all get out, but I absolutely loved the movie. And so it was one of those where I was like, "You were in that movie," and she kind of like, say it. And I'm like, "I loved Everybody Wants to Be Italian," and she just looked at me like, "What? Somebody's actually seen this movie before? What?
Jesus Christ!"
Wow. And so she just kind of looked, and she kind of was like smiling and flirting with me, and I'm like, I understand that. No, she was.
She was. I believe it. Paul's
and I'm like. And I'm like, I know that she's only doing this because it's like, well, she's trying to sell the autographs. She's trying to sell the 8x10s. But you know what? I don't fucking care if she's trying to... She's flirting with me. That's fine. I don't care if she's trying to... I'm going to play this up. And then our friend was telling me about, oh, yeah, this artwork that he did. And he's like, oh, yeah, I used to be such a great artist. I'll show you some work when we get home. And I'm like...
You're like, oh,
when we get home, like we don't live together. But I literally, my head, you could set your watch to it. He's like, I'll show you when I get home, or when we get home, and my head just kind of goes down like, oh no.
Did you get that wash of shame?
I did.
Oh my god!
I started getting like the
feeling.
I started getting like the cold sweats and stuff like that. Like I can't believe it. I had this going for me, and now it's all gone.
It's all gone.
It's all gone. Everything's gone. It's all gone.
I would have thought that memory would be in the forefront of his most vivid memories.
No. Obviously, I can tell it like it was yesterday.
Of course you can.
But it's not one of my most favorited moments of the con history.
Oh, shit.
I think that was at C2E2 in 2010, maybe?
That sounds about right, because you and I were working together at the time, I think so.
Yeah.
I will say you hadn't moved into that new position yet.
Yeah, no, I was, because I still worked, wait a minute. Yeah, because it was on a Thursday, and I wouldn't have had to work that day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we went on a Thursday, but it was with, like, a group of us.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Cool story.
Yeah.
But anyway,
thanks for making me tell it again.
I'm sorry. So that's the story of the opening. But anyway, Kevin, do you have anything to add to that?
No.
Excuse me.
You're belching every time.
So my younger brother...
Why are you so laughy?
So my younger brother tells me that... So my younger brother loves Rick and Morty. I don't get it personally. I mean, I like...
I only know
who's one of the writers? Dan Harmon?
Yeah, Harmon.
I only know one of the characters' names is Pickle Rick. And I think that's a funny name.
I mean, I admit the show does have its moments where it's hilarious. But my brother seems to think that I am Rick to a T. Because just in the middle of talking, he'll just start burping and shit. And the shit he says... And honestly, the more I watch it, because we watch it when we go out to his house and play pool and stuff, I can kind of see it a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of the show, but it has its moments. Anyway, sorry, that was about the burp. But anyway, let's get on to the main topic. So, we did the Pokemon episode a couple weeks ago. Not knowing they were going to release the trailer for the next generation Pokemon, Sword and Shield, that very next week. Oh my god, what a serendipitous moment, boys. That was pure luck.
Yes, it was. It was complete coincidence.
Very strange.
Or was it?
Yes.
No, it definitely was.
Yeah, it was.
No. No, we planned that out perfectly. We knew ahead of time. We had the leaks.
My dad works at Nintendo.
But
Nintendo called me up last night.
So I felt this would be... Because we only touched on the main games in our Pokemon episode. And obviously, as we stated, the Pokemon franchise is so fucking massive, we could have talked for even longer than we did about it. So I wanted to do another episode on, like, offshoot stuff, the cards, all sorts of crap like that. Because especially growing up, when Pokemon blew up, there was so much that came with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of going to be the focus of this episode is offshoot Pokemon shit, off the beaten path, even knockoff stuff. Like, I mean, it's really something to be seen, the Pokemon franchise. But anyway,
You know, I'm surprised because I'm trying to think about like Pokemon knockoff stuff,
yes,
and I can't picture anything.
I only know
even back then I can't picture anything.
it's
I think Nintendo and Game Freak in general, I think they kept a pretty good rap on.
There's only
on the
one
whole-
major one that comes to mind. Pokemon.
what the fuck is that?
It sounds like
Did you ever seen the parody like
smoking.
Yeah, it was
smoking
basically it was like Pokemon. Some of them had like dreads and like the Rasta hat, and they were smoking weed and shit like that. And it said Pokemon instead of Pokemon. Those
No.
shirts were huge back then.
Yeah, no,
I-
I don't remember that.
It's very prevalent
Did you ever
now.
go into like Spencer's? They always sold
I
that
didn't
shit
care.
there.
Yeah, I didn't care for.
See, but I wouldn't really consider that like an offshoot. That's more of
No,
just
it's a parody. That's what
Yeah.
when he was talking about like
I see.
like the knockoff
Yeah,
type stuff.
yeah.
Oh, I
But
see.
like that, it was made in parody. But yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything that was a direct knockoff.
Yeah, like
of
video
it.
games and stuff like that.
It's more so if you have like if you go on Android shop or whatever. I don't know what the.
Well, you're talking
like,
now. You're talking
Yeah,
now. I'm
yeah.
talking back then.
Oh, back then? I mean,
Yeah.
there were a lot of games that kind of followed that sort of formula.
Sort of
like
followed it, but they
Demi-Kids
never- but they
was
never-
kind of a weird Pokemon kind of feeling to it, where you collected monsters
Although
and
there's
shit.
another
they
one
never
I just thought
claimed.
of. The Jade Cocoon.
Jade Cocoon, yeah, it was kind of
For
a
PS1.
Monster
Yeah, but-
Rancher. Wasn't
I
that
was
after
gonna,
Pokemon?
Yes, but okay.
That's
so
very different.
Those are not knockoffs. Those are games that were maybe were influenced
Yeah.
or inspired
Well, that's
by
kind
Pokemon.
That's kind of
But
what I
they're-
mean. Not necessarily knockoffs.
No, as being okay. So back when it came out, I was like, obviously I collected toys. I loved that kind of stuff. There were knockoffs where there were like, haven't you ever seen like toys that are packaged like it's the Incredible Hulk, but on the package it's like the
DC.
big green blob.
Or it says DC when it's a Marvel character.
Yeah, or it's like
Yeah,
a
I've seen
DC,
those.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
or it's like Superman, but instead of being like the red and blue like suit that he always wears, it's like he's wearing a
Green.
green spandex thing with like yellow stripes on it. It's like that's a knockoff.
Well,
That's-
see, yeah, I never really saw many for Pokemon, but for like Power Rangers, there was a ton of
Power
them.
Rangers
Yeah,
were huge.
absolutely.
Because I remember they had like those off-brand ones where like just their arms moved up and down.
Yep.
But they were just like the one cast like hollow plastic.
Yep, you used to see the 5-packs of those and like the Marvel characters and stuff like that were not Marvel though, quote unquote. At
What? I didn't do anything.
Bullshit, you didn't.
What happened?
but they were always at 7 Mile Fair. If you ever went to any booth, there was always like booths there where they had all of this like odds and ends shit, but then they always had like lines of toys that were just off brand
Yeah.
knockoff crap, and I'm just like, that's awesome.
Maybe knockoff wasn't the right word I was
So,
looking for. I meant more where you
Inspiration spin-off,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So the first thing that came to mind was Monster Rancher,
Yeah.
because that was like literally it looked like Pokemon.
Except for it wasn't.
It wasn't. I
Monster
know.
Rancher was like as far removed from Pokemon as you could really get.
What?
The only
Far
one
removed?
The one
Yeah.
that I would say was very, very close would be Digimon.
Well,
See,
and
Digimon
Digimon was an intended spin-off of it, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
Where it was digital monsters instead of pocket monsters. And
Yeah.
so it was kind of like the next evolution of it. And I think
I never got
honestly-
too big into Digimon though.
No, but I think it really kind of hit a stride early on and then just kind of fizzled out. I think it's still going. now,
Digimon's
though.
still
Oh, they're
goes-
still making games. Like
Are they really?
The games are actually
But it's not.
pretty top
But
notch.
it's not as
Outside Japan, not really.
yeah. It's
I
not as
wouldn't say it's as
iconic.
prevalent.
I
Because
don't
that's
think
why
it is, yeah.
there was it last year or was it coming out? There was the new movie that Digimon just did too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So they're still going and they're going strong,
Yeah.
just not here compared to Pokemon.
Though the games I've heard are pretty good.
Yeah, the detective,
Digital Sleuth something
there,
or
that's-
other,
yeah,
and
that's
there's a couple of other ones that are more action RPG like, and I actually considered almost getting them, but I'm so, like you said, I'm so far removed from Digimon, I still don't get it. Like even the card game, because obviously we grew up playing, playing being the operative word, the card game You know, like I said, we bought the starter set, we bought all these things. Lord knows we had no fucking idea how to play the damn game.
I was gonna say I never even played it until I was an adult.
No, but I bought Digimon cards too, and Lord, for the life of me, I still don't know how to fucking play that damn card game. So I don't even know. I don't even think I have my Digimon cards anymore.
No reason
So
to
it's.
keep 'em.
But I remember looking at it, and I loved the design of all the creatures and stuff, and
They had,
some of them got so ridiculous.
Some of them are really, really cool, and then you get other ones where, like, out of nowhere, it digivolves, and all of a sudden you're like, I've got a robot arm!
Yeah,
and
like,
missile launchers!
It turned into weird, like, they became like Power Rangers. Like the Zords. That's what they started to look like after a while. He's like, oh, I'm a cute little dinosaur! All of a sudden, I'm like Mechagodzilla. You're like, what?
Yeah. Well, and then they go like ridiculous for like their chain of like evolutions. Pokemon, it's a
Well, I think
Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard. That's it, with the exception of the Mega Evolutions.
Yeah.
That's it. You evolve, you're done. Whereas Digimon was, I started the baby form, then I got like the intermediate form, then the advanced form, and then my super advanced form, and then I could split off to like 1,000 different ways to mega advanced, and all of a sudden it goes all the way up to like I'm a god Digimon, and it's like what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And then at the end of battle, it's I'm all the way back down to back being this baby again. I'm like, what?
Well, I think Pokemon was more of the evolution side of where you could actually see it kind of growing and evolving naturally versus Digimon.
That's against Jeebus.
Which, compared to Digimon, which was more of like, I don't know, augmentation.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, it really, from one form to the next,
Well,
it really,
the big
maybe
thing with-
it had a little bit of a...
Big thing with Digimon too is they're digital, they're programs, they upgrade and then go back to being
The Digiverse.
Yeah, that's right. They
with
did,
the exception
didn't
of when the
never
Digimon
stayed.
universe
Never stayed.
crosses over to the real world and it doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
And I don't get it.
It got super strange. I remember Pokemon was much more relatable.
Pokemon was. I think, like I said, I found out about the TV show back in, like, I would say 1998, late 1998. And after that, I discovered the card game really early on. I remember at Target in January of 1999. It had to have just come out because I remember the first 5 packs I had picked up were first edition packs. God. And they had they were on the blister cardboard packs. But outside of that, I remember I got into I tried to collect like anything I could Pokemon, where they had like Pokemon beanie things. Yeah. Squirtle was my absolute favorite. Love that one.
Of course it was.
Squirt.
So, and that I think I picked that up. Honestly, I think that was at a mall at a Spencer's, and it was a. Yes, it was. Don't you dare shake your head. But it was on like a countertop display.
Yeah.
And so that was the first place that I had ever seen those. But I know I got big into the toys. They were released like these little battle packs where they had like the 2-packs.
Yeah.
It came with 2-inch, or sometimes they had like a deluxe like 3-pack where it was like little like inch like PVC Pokemon pieces.
Yeah.
It came with it came with like a plastic Pokeball too that you could quote unquote capture them in, which the thing was absolutely garbage.
Oh.
And then the triple packs had like the evolutions. I know they did a Bulbasaur, a Charmander, and a Squirtle pack where it was the 3 evolutions. They all came with like a Pog of like the
Pog
of the Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then there was like a little replica Game Boy thing that had like a little projectile that you could load into it and shoot it. I was just like, what the hell is this about? Like,
Yep.
But I collected those things and I would like hang them up on my wall, like line it like wallpaper and stuff like that as I was collecting them.
That's awesome.
I absolutely love those. But that's when you could go to like Target, you go to Walmart. I remember a lot of them I picked up at Walmart for like, I think $5 a piece. They were like $4.96.
Mm-hmm.
So it was stuff that it's like at the time when I didn't have a job. It's like I could still kind of afford one here and there because I would every so often get some money for that kind of stuff. So
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Mine, not coincidentally, I had the Pokemon battling coin games.
Oh,
do you remember these? So, no, obviously nobody can see this, but I pulled these out. These were in my basement. So they were essentially like, they were the slammers from Pogs, but they had like values. They would have pictures like this pack. They were three coins in like a cardboard sleeve. So you open the sleeve up, it gives you the battle outcome, the special attacks, like the items and types, and then you would get these three metal coins, and on them would be 3 random Pokemon that would be on them, because it has the Pokeball on one side, and then it's got their attack and stuff on them.
It actually feels like a silver dollar almost, weight-wise.
But the idea was you spun it, and then you would both stop it, and then you would put them together, and I don't remember exactly how it works, but there's typing matches, there's values on them, there's certain attacks. Like, it was a really weird, interesting game, but growing up, I wish I would have had money to buy more of these things. I truly do, because I only have 4 3-packs of these.
When it said collect them all, how many were there, do you think?
Jesus. I honestly have no idea.
50? Was there enough to have all 150?
This was 1999. These were out.
You know what? I bet you $1 million that there probably was 50 different packs of these things.
It wouldn't surprise me, because
if you
it was
have
random,
Articuno,
too.
which is 144, yeah.
I have 2 of them, actually. Mine has Articuno as well. I got a Dratini, Articuno, and a Seal in this pack.
Oh my god, so they're like literally like packs of cards where they were completely random.
Yes, sir. But me and Alec used to play this all the time. We used to love these. So yeah, it was such an interesting idea, and I wish to God I would have had more money back then to actually like buy these. And it was really cool. But this was the one offshoot thing that I really liked. Yeah, I always thought this was really cool.
They did so many different offshoots and different things with Pokemon. I mean, they marketed the heck out of it, and they licensed the heck out of it. Although a lot of it was put out by Hasbro, so I mean, I think they had the rights to a lot of like the distribution of toys and side games and things like that. So
yeah, so even then, like I had this was back too when Tamagotchis were huge. So of course I had the Pokemon Pikachu. The little thing that had you had the charging thing, you fed it. It was essentially a Tamagotchi version of Pikachu, and it was fucking awesome. Which they brought back when Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out. The Pokemon Pikachu, but now it was interconnectivity with your DS. You could actually capture Pokemon with it.
Oh wow.
It was really freaking cool.
That's cool.
But I loved it, man. I had that fucker everywhere. It had a little pedometer in it, because you would get Pokemon or Pikachu's charges by walking. So of course you just sit there and shake that little fucker and get him all his charges and then feed his ass. So I mean, it was cool as shit, man. Fucking Pokemon was such a powerhouse even back then when it first launched.
It was. I remember of some of the toys that I collected too, were the electronic talking ones. They came in the small boxes, but it was like a bigger figure. So I remember I had Squirtle, I had Pikachu, I had Meowth. The funny thing about Meowth, though, I remember getting that for Christmas of 1998, and I opened that thing up, and I like electronic talking, like so I made it talk. And all of a sudden, it started speaking in gibberish. I'm like, what's wrong with this thing? Why is it not working? Like, all of its lines, its voice, was in Japanese. I'm like...
Why is it speaking in gibberish?
I'm like, why is it speaking in Japanese? Like, why is this happening? I don't know if I still have that... If I still have that figure somewhere. I would... I hope I do somewhere. But I was just blown away. I'm like, why would they... do this? Like, I thought that I had gotten like a broken one or something like that, because
like the guy recording it was just like all of a sudden stroked out in the middle of recording his lines. Are like, good enough.
I just remember like one of the lines, like I can only like obviously it's probably not, I'm not pronouncing any of it correctly, but this is what I remember hearing is the Pokemon Nanakobanya. It's like, I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
Oh, where's Tim when you need him?
I know, exactly.
He would be looking at you with such dismay, going, what are you doing?
Oh, it's so funny.
And I remember, it's just like the other sounds like, nya 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 the Pokemon Nanakobanya. It was just the funniest thing. I don't know why, but I still, like, that sound is ingrained in my brain for some reason.
Oh, yeah. What about you, Kevin? What offshoot crap did you have? Or not offshoot. I don't know why that word stuck in my
Why?
head.
Stop saying
I'm sorry. What did you have besides the games and cards growing up?
Nothing. I wasn't a fucking nerd like you two.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
No, I remember having some little plastic figures that came inside their own like spring-loaded Pokeballs.
Yes. Yeah, I remember those.
They weren't very. They were maybe
really
like
tiny.
like an inch big, maybe a little bit bigger.
I remember.
And they had like a Pokeball that opened and that little peg that they could sit in, and then you had. So it was the closable Pokeball with them in it.
Interesting.
I
had one of those
know
too.
what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
They made a 2-pack when the that I had. It
Yeah,
was
the Mew one was like the see-through purple or whatever.
yes. I had a 2-pack. That
Or was
was
it
when
Mewtwo?
the
That was
it was Mewtwo. When the first movie came out, it was a 2-pack of Charizard and Mewtwo for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember those. Yeah, I completely forgot about.
Had
Yeah,
those.
you throw them, and it's supposed to like open the
yeah.
Pokeball,
Yeah.
and the monster's supposed to come out.
Oh, they never came out unless
Well,
you didn't put them on the peg.
or
and I don't think I ever got it to land and knock on the hit the button to
Or
open.
if they did come out, it's like it's laying. Yeah, it's on its face. It's like you're not very Pokemon like.
Yes, it is. Wobbuffet, perfect.
Wobbuffet.
Dude, I love Boba Fett.
Trying to think. The only other thing I remember having like sidewise was the gold plates. They from the when
Burger King.
Yeah,
Burger King
they
did that.
came in the-
Yes.
and they came in the big thing, and there was the gold. Well, gold.
The 24-karat gold plated.
My ass.
I think. Yeah. Well, no, it's gold plated.
I know.
So it's like the fake gold.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had.
Mewtwo, Mew.
I was gonna say, I think I have the Charizard one.
Charizard.
Yeah, I remember those. I don't think I ever had them, but I remember them.
I
I think
had.
my
I
little
had
sister still has them.
I had 2 of them because I think one I had gotten myself, and then one I got from my brother, who I don't know why, but he had I think he ate at Burger King once, and he purchased one of them. So, yeah, I remember those. Yeah, those big things. Like they didn't really have anything special about them.
No.
Like,
They were
you
just good display pieces.
They were display pieces. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, other than that, toy wise, I never really did much with Pokemon outside of the games and the card games. So
Yeah.
I was more into X-Men and stuff for toy wise.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, so the Marvel
the
and
Marvel
DC
toys, the Toy Biz stuff.
Yeah, I'd rather had those or all of my Ninja Turtle collection. Because when those figures were out, I had all of them. The only thing I didn't have for those was the Technodrome and then the van.
You probably didn't have Scratch either.
Fuck that is.
Scratch the cat burglar.
No.
What the fuck?
Sorry, no, Scratch the cat burglar. He came out in I think 1992, and he's I don't know if it's changed, but back in the day he was $300 because he was
Holy fuck.
he was hard in hell to find.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, they didn't make many of them.
No.
But Scratch was in I want to say he was in an episode of the show, but believe it or not, he ended up becoming a boss in the TMNT 3 on the Game Boy. He was one.
Really?
He was one of the bosses. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was great. But no, not to digress back to the card game, but do you remember when Pokemon what was it? Was it the first movie? I think Pokemon the first movie, they did a promo where they gave away
Was
it Ancient Mew?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god, yes. It was the Mew with was it
So it was 10 psychic and
Well, it was like a
Psychic?
holofoil, but the whole thing was in
Is it hieroglyphics?
hieroglyphics, yeah.
Yeah.
because it wasn't because that was before Gold and Silver came out, right?
Yes, it was.
So, because I have a feeling if Gold and Silver had been out when they done that, instead of hieroglyphic things, it would have been unknown.
Yeah.
Letters. 'Cause that whole
sure,
unknown
yeah.
line spelt the entire, the alphabet. and
the
all.
alphabet, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, I remember that because my neighbors across the street had Ancient Mew.
Yeah.
And they tried to use it when we played. And I was like, what the fuck is
It's
this?
an actual
you
move.
can't. Yeah,
Yeah, I know
Well,
that,
it does have actual moves because I think it's in. It might be in another language, but it's actually
translatable.
It's translatable.
It is.
Yeah.
I want to say it was Psywave or something stupid like that. It was a 10 damage attack.
The
and
card
then-
wasn't good.
No, it wasn't.
No,
yeah.
no, it was a promo card. None
And
of
it
the
was,
promo cards
and
were
if
good.
I'm not mistaken, it had only 50 hit points, which was not a lot.
40, I
for
think.
If it was,
Or maybe even 40.
If it was Psywave, it was probably 10 times.
10 plus.
10 plus?
I think
I thought it was 10
Psywave-
times the amount of energy on it or something like that.
I thought Psywave was a 10 plus.
I have no idea.
10 damage plus.
No, that's psychic.
Oh, okay.
Psychic was the plus.
Yeah, it was usually 10 plus 10 more for every damage counter on it or something,
Yeah.
which we'll get into that.
The
but-
only Pokemon who had that were like they only had 30 hit points.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, fuck, we might as well ride out this card wave here while we're talking about it, speaking of Psywave. But
Speaking of do the wave,
do the
And with that, I'm leaving.
But the card game, I mean, holy shit. Like you said, we didn't even know how to play it till we were adults.
I just collected it as a kid.
Yeah,
I just collected them.
I remember collecting the cards because I remember the base set, which was awesome, being super disappointed not all the Pokemon were in there. So it's like...
I thought that all the Pokemon were going to be in there,
Yeah,
and I
I
didn't
mean-
realize that it was only like 102 cards and not all the Pokemon were accounted for.
Yeah, but I mean, we collected them until about the gym sets. Because there was base, jungle, fossil, and then it started going into Rocket, which had all the dark Pokemon.
And then after Rocket, it was Gym Leaders.
And then it went to gym leaders. Yes, so the first 4. Those are what we collected, and we kind of started to vaguely remember how to play the game. But I remember I didn't super get into the game until I had my first apartment, and you would come over, and you had one of the booster boxes.
I did.
We went on a weird craze of buying booster boxes.
It's so funny because when it came out in 1989, I collected the cards. I actually only collected them from the base set. I think I don't remember buying a lot of Jungle, but I bought quite a bit of Fossil. And I think after that, I never really continued on. And so, I want to say it was 2007, I had ended up buying a base box, and I wanted to just collect it again, just because I'm like, I had the base set from back in the day, and I ended up selling it. And so I was like, you know what? I want to, just for nostalgia's sake, I want to buy the Pokemon cards. I want to try it again. And so I ended up buying a base box, like the original base box, not base 2,
Right.
base box, for like I think it was $90.
Yeah, I remember base set was anywhere for us between $75 and $100.
Yeah, and I ended up paying $90 with shipping included, and I had so much fun opening it. And the funny thing is that I always thought that you were guaranteed like 12, like you got 12 foils in a box, 12 hollow foils,
36 packs,
36 packs. So it was because it was one every 3 packs, and you couldn't get more than that. Out of that box, I got 14 foils, and I'm like, how the hell was that even possible?
Yeah.
And my 13th foil that I didn't even expect to pull anymore after that was Charizard of all of them.
Charizard.
I was like, so not only did I pull like a foil that I didn't think that I was going to pull, I pulled Charizard of all of them.
That's awesome.
And I
had one.
And I had so much fun with it. And then that's when I told you about how much fun I had with it. And then you're like, hey, you know what? We should buy some boxes and stuff like that. So then I went on after that to Jungle. I think then we kind of went together. So we each bought a box of Jungle. We each bought a box of Fossil. We each bought a box of Rocket.
Yeah.
And then and so we just, after that, it's like we started having like the contest about who could pull more foils. Because I thought, well, maybe there's no guarantee on how many foils you're going to get. You'll get at least 12. Maybe you'll get more. I think every single box that we ever bought, I think we only got 12 foils. So.
Yeah, except for the one poor box you bought where you got, 7 Gengars? What did you ever do with those Gengars, buddy?
I pulled 8.
Oh my god! 8 out of 12!
No, not 8 foils, because they also had the non-foil.
Oh,
version.
that's true, they did.
But you would get one rare. It would either be the rare or it'd be the hollow foil. So between all that, 8 Gengars.
My most vivid memory.
Literally 36 packs in that box.
8 were Gengar.
8 were Gengar. I literally almost had a 25% chance of pulling a Gengar in every single pack.
And that was Fossil.
And that was Fossil.
So you want to know what's sickening right now? So we spent $75 to $100 on a base set booster box back in 2000...
2008, I would say 7, 8. Yeah, 7 or 8.
Something
Yeah.
plus.
Oh, God, no.
3?
Oh no. You're
$2,500.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not. Yeah.
fuck?
I knew that they were at least 4 figures.
A base booster box, not base 2, base.
Sealed.
Sealed, never opened, not even first edition.
No,
$2,500, $2,500 for a base box. We were buying them for $89 to $100.
Yeah.
Jungle, $1,400. Fossil, $1,400.
Jungle.
Can you fucking believe Paul and I were buying these things like hotcakes back in the days?
Jungle and Fossil, I think we probably got for like $60 a piece, maybe
50,
even?
60, I remember buying, because I didn't have
they
an
were cheaper.
eBay account at the time. You did.
Yeah.
So I was always asking you to buy me booster boxes.
Yeah, they were cheaper.
Son of a bit. Like, how, if
Well, you never. It's one of those things where you don't ever know what's going to be valuable down the line.
Exactly.
well, and it does make sense too, because the more boxes that are bought and opened, the
And
less
that's-
there are.
Exactly, and that's a big thing with it too. Like where, like with Magic the Gathering and stuff, where if you find a box of alpha or beta, it's just because the game has been out for so long that every sealed item that you find, whether it's a box or whether it's a pack, the second that somebody buys that, and if they decide to open it up, it's no longer sealed anymore. So you have the chance of pulling a very expensive card out of there, but if it's not sealed anymore, then that's one less that's in the population out there. So the same thing with Pokemon is that every box that gets sold is going to be open potentially, and therefore there's one less that that will be sealed.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but that just blows my mind to think about.
It does,
you know,
because
10 years prior.
Because I think about that, where it's like I bought that 12 years ago for like $90, and to think if I would have just not opened it, the thing would have been like over $2,000.
Yeah.
And when you really think about it too, I was able to put together a set from that box after like with having to search out a couple of other cards, but if you look at the price of like the base set, it's like a fraction of that. It doesn't really go, like maybe $100 if that.
It's crazy to think about that. Just the box alone is worth more than even a full set. Yeah, that's so weird. I never actually got a full set because I never pulled a Charizard my whole life, which I'm fine with. I don't care. I kind of thought he was a crappy card. But
he wasn't the greatest, but
he was the strongest.
He was the strongest
because it was 4 for 120 or something, which was insane.
He was one of only 2 Pokemon that had over 100 hit points.
Yeah,
and he was, I believe, the only Pokemon who could deal 100 or more damage.
Zapdos, I think, could deal 100 for 4.
No, he could deal 90.
Was it 90? I thought it was a flat 100.
Nope, I don't think so. Pretty sure it was.
You might be right.
Look it up. I want to say it was 90.
You could be right.
Because he had the second highest attack power. Chansey could deal 80, but she also hurt herself too.
Yeah. It was double edge.
Yeah.
Well, how about you, Kevin? I know you played the card game probably growing up too, right?
Yeah.
What were your memories of it?
I just remember we played Pokemon, not as much as we played Magic, though. Like, so, I mean, Pokemon was one of those, we play it every now and then, and we kind of sporadically would get stuff. We never really focused on, getting them or collecting them. Yeah, it's the flat 100.
Yep, told you.
Go to hell.
Yeah, so for me, I didn't get into the card game very, big until after I started hanging out with you, and then we started playing it.
Yeah.
And then I know at one point we stopped playing it. Mm-hmm. And then what set was it that came out? Was it Diamond Pearl?
It was probably Diamond Pearl.
Where I bought the one starter thing, and you guys are like, I hate you.
Well, no, it pissed us off because what we were doing was we had a bunch of our old school decks that we had played from
I was just curious. Fuck you.
from base and jungle and fossil and all that stuff. And then you bought that stupid-ass starter set from Diamond and Pearl.
And destroyed us!
Destroyed us with a freaking Arbok. Of all things, an Arbok, we could not deal with it. And we're like, what the hell's going on? And it's because by that point we realized that
the new cards were so unbalanced.
The power sets were so unbalanced from the old to Diamond and Pearl that it's like you couldn't use the 2 sets.
I was just saying it kicked us off into buying a whole shitload
and then it kicked us off into buying more of the contemporary stuff.
Because there was the 3 of us, then your younger brother.
My younger brother, Adrian.
Adrian
played for a while.
He played for a while.
Mish played for a while. Thorson did for a little bit.
Yeah, God,
we had a quite
there was a
group.
good like group of like
Yeah.
5, 6 of us, maybe a bit more.
But I think it was mostly the 4 of us.
Yeah.
You, me, Paul, and then my younger brother got into it. But I remember Diamond Pearl, that just seeing that set, and it just jump-started this entire thing where we went apeshit buying these cards. I remember we would all go in on a couple of booster boxes, we'd sit down and we'd all open them at random.
Well, we would basically like do the lotto, so we'd open the boxes, we'd stack the packs in front, and then we would go one by one, grabbing whatever pack we wanted until they were all gone, and then we'd sit there and open and shit like
trade them and all this other shit. It was I had a really good time doing it, man. It was so cool. But you're like Paul was saying, it fell into the common trading card game trap, where every new set that comes out has to outdo the set before it, and
or rules adjusted so that the old cards didn't play quite the same way the new ones did.
Yeah, so it ended up perpetuating the site because, like you said, Charizard was the strongest at 120. Well, now in this next set, now something's going to do 140. But now in the next set, something's going to do 180. And now if you look at cards, there are cards that do 200 damage, 250
not just
damage.
That, the weakness resistance system changed.
That's true. It used to be a plus 10, plus 20, plus 30. Now it went to a 2 times damage or something like that, which... I mean, we could go on and on about the card game it could be the whole podcast.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we had so much fun with it. We had so many great... I mean, we even came up with a whole 2v2 like system where certain moves would affect the whole board. Certain things would affect just somebody. Like, it was really cool. But I remember those were some of my most vivid memories moving out and playing fucking Pokemon trading card game with you guys.
Well, I remember, too, that a Pokemon, when it first came out, too, was, like, the card game was huge. It was a huge collectible. Everybody wanted it. And it was one of the first times I had ever really kind of learned what the rules of supply and demand were.
Yeah, I was kind of the same way.
As a kid, because I'm like... So... The packs were $2.99 a piece.
God, I wish.
The packs were $2.99 a piece, and I remember Toys R Us having an ad in the paper, or like one of their removable ads. Wow, now rest in peace, Toys R Us. But they had an ad where their packs were $3.49, and I'm like, why are they $3.49? They're supposed to be $2.99. That's the price.
Yeah.
And then there was a local card store that I would go to called M&M Sports Cards.
Oh my God!
Do you remember M&M Sports Cards?
M&Ms.
Oh God, yeah.
Jesus Christ! I can't believe I forgot about that place.
Yeah. So I used to go there, and
wow.
And he had packs of the original base set there, and when stores like Toys R Us were selling them at $3.49 a pack, he was selling them for $7.99 a pack.
Suck a dick.
$7.99.
Weren't the decks themselves about 10?
The decks were 10. They were $9.99 a piece. Yeah. Except he did not. He charged more for them. Of course.
Oh, of course.
He charged $14.99 or sometimes more, like $17.99 for those things.
Yeah.
And it was and so I was like, how could he sell? Like, how can he get away with this? How could he do that? And it kind of learned at that point. I'm like, that's the rules of supply and demand. People are selling out of this stuff, and so when there's none left available, you can charge whatever you want, and if people still want it, they're gonna buy it at that price.
Yeah, and that became prevalent and stuff too, especially for base when like Jungle and Fossil came out.
Yeah,
because now all of a sudden the previous sets were starting to sell higher, and you were like, God damn it! It's like I need that 1 or 2 spare cards for my decks or whatever, but I know I'm having to spend $3.50 to $4 a pack as opposed to $3 for the fossil set or whatever.
Because I remember when he was charging $7.99 for base, that was the Jungle was already out.
Yeah.
And I think he was selling those for $3.99 a pack versus the $7.99 for the base stuff.
Did you guys ever buy the decks? No, the theme decks.
I did. I
had all of them.
I only had one of them. I remember the what was the fire one?
I don't remember.
It came with a Ninetales.
I really don't remember the names of them. Flashfire, I think, maybe.
No,
Bushfire.
Brushfire.
That was the fire grass one.
Yes.
It was Brushfire.
Yeah, and Ninetales was the foil because each deck came with a foil card.
Poor Ninetales, even got shafted in the cards.
I liked Ninetales, but yes, he was not as
Arcanine was still better.
Yes, he was. Arcanine had Arcanine was the third one. He had 100 hit points.
Yeah, but I think his move hurt him. I think.
Wait a minute. I said there was only two who had
it?
over 100 hit points. That's right. Yeah.
Yes,
Chansey and Charizard were the only ones that had 120. Nobody had 110, and then there was a handful that had 100.
So sadly, to allude back to what we were saying about Zapdos, it was 4 energy for 100, but you had to discard everything in order to use the attack.
And he had 90 hit points. That's why the 90 stuck out in my mind.
And both of his attacks needed 4 energy to actually attack, but his first one was Thunder. You flip a coin, if tails, he hits himself by 30 for 60 damage.
And does nothing. Wait, does it still do the 60? It just hits him by 30, but that's like, he's basically can be one-shotted then by like a Venusaur or basically anything else. Oh,
wow, yeah, actually, Arcanine wasn't that. He could only do 80, but he hit himself by 30.
Yeah, that was a takedown, right?
Yep, and he had 100 HP. His other attack was Flamethrower for 3. You discard a fire to do 50.
And if you recall,
God, what a fat bastard! He had 3 retreat cost.
And if
nobody knows what that means.
And if you recall, though, in the base set, there were defenders.
Yes, there were.
And so if you actually had a move like that did damage to yourself, you threw a defender on him. Arcanine was a beast. He was a tank.
Oh, you and I, actually all of us, we were such bitches with Gust of Winds, defenders, plus powers,
scoop up,
switches, scoop up. Dude, the fucking trainer cards were insane.
Trainer cards were probably the best set of trainer cards that I can ever remember. Like, the base set had all of the greatest ones. All the expansions, like Jungle, Fossil, they had crap ones. They weren't the greatest.
To be honest, there was another set of, like, the later sets when they introduced the stadiums.
The stadiums were
Some
cool.
of those were fucking amazing, because we used those a lot.
See, and I did not play. I stopped right before Stadium. Team Rocket was the last one that we collected.
No, this was after
this was
we
in the
got
Diamond
back
and Pearl and
later. This
Black
was
and
after
White.
we got back into it. Yeah,
you don't remember those?
The stadium cards were
the stadium cards, yes. Oh, you're talking the stadiums, yes.
Where
The
it
actual
changed
cards.
the field
Yes.
to give certain types advantages and stuff like that.
Well,
some of those were like ridiculous.
Some of the Diamond and Pearl ones were too. I liked Rocky Helmet. Was a fun one.
It was pretty much a built-in.
Anytime somebody's hitting you, it's like a plus power, built-in plus power. So anytime somebody hits you, it's like it hits them for 20. I'm like, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. I actually would love to play just like a round or two of the Pokemon card game and put it up on our channel. Just for funsies.
That's my basic deck.
I'm about to say, I still have all my cards. I know you guys do too.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck it. Maybe we should just buy just a random deck of the newer shit and just... from open to playing.
It would be kind of fun. It's kind of like off topic, but it would be fun to go and get a random Pokemon starter deck, random like Yu-Gi-Oh one, just random ones, and just play it. Just one like.
I would love to see what Pokemon's relaunch was. Like, they had the 2 starter decks that have like one is Pikachu, and the other one is Mewtwo, and it looks like it's all the old. It's like the old art, but I think it's just updated with like different hit points and damage values and stuff like that.
I say wait till Sword and Shield drops, and then we'll get those ones.
Maybe.
Just get one.
I don't know. Because it usually takes them a little while for Sword and Shield stuff or for the newer sets to launch for cards. But, like I said, we could go on for hours about the card game. Let's move on to just Pokemon has transcended so many genres, as we mentioned in the first episode. There's now Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, which is like a dungeon crawler. You have Pokemon Rumble, which was a weird action RPG one. You had
Pokken
Tournament. There's so many.
Was it Gale of Darkness?
Yeah, you had the ones for GameCube, the Pokemon XD games, Gale of Darkness, and it was so cool. Pokemon Stadium we never touched on, which blew our fucking minds! Pokemon Stadium was one of the coolest fucking games when it came out on the N64.
It was pretty amazing.
It was epic.
It was epic, and it's so funny. You pop that game and now hasn't aged the most gracefully.
What 64 game?
It's a one-hit wonder.
But yeah, it was amazing to actually see a 3D representation of the Pokemon battling.
Now, better than that was the pack that you could put your cartridge in.
Oh yeah,
and actually use the Pokemon you
from the
trained in game on the 64 to fight other people.
Yeah, and that game, in fact, the first Pokemon Stadium game came with the transfer pack.
Yeah.
That you just popped it into the back of the controller and you were ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
It was such a... I remember at Best Buy when they had the monitor display stuff, they had Pokemon Stadium in there, and I remember playing it and I was blown away.
So for those who don't remember, Best Buy, before they became a shadow of their former selves, they used to have storefronts that were absolutely humongous. And in the middle of the store, regardless of which one you walked into, when you walked into the store, you could see in dead center of the store, you would see, there would be a gaming section, but what you would see near the ceiling would be a display. It was a 4-sided display of TVs that were 3 monitors wide by 3 monitors down. So it was 9 total monitors, but that
formed one big picture.
That formed one big picture, basically. And it was on all 4 sides. So whatever game was playing, whatever the display was, if somebody was playing, everybody in the store could see what was going on.
It was so cool.
So I just have to say that because people probably... I don't want people to forget this shit.
We're chronicling.
It's amazing.
But I remember, because like you said, it was such a mind fucker because... up
going
until that
from
point,
pixels to the 3D,
exactly.
the 3D versions was,
The only thing we ever saw were the stagnant sprites that would just flicker here and there. Something would happen on the Game Boy, to all of a sudden seeing this 3D representation moving, and the move, you could feel the hits of surf and fucking takedown hitting your opponent, and it was so fucking cool.
Well, it's amazing because the first games came out on the Game Boy in 1998. And Pokemon Stadium came out in 2000. It only came out a year and a half after the Game Boy games came out. So you had the literally the 2-dimensional sprites that had they looked pretty crappy in the first game. They weren't the greatest.
The first couple, they didn't look too great.
They didn't look great.
At the time, I don't know what you're talking about. They look fantastic.
Sure.
Going back.
At the time, yes. Going back now. But anyways, you had the 2D sprites that didn't look the greatest, and then you were thrown into Pokemon Stadium, which had the most amazing polygonal graphics, and it was all in 3-dimensional representation. It looked amazing. You were in a giant stadium, which is something that you were never in the Game Boy games, and so you actually felt like you were in the show at that point.
It was so
battling
cool.
in the stadium.
No, and then having the different, because I remember it was what was it, that map almost when you were at the main menu, where there was play the stadium thing, and you could actually unlock the different tiers where you could say level 30, so only Pokemon level 30 and below were allowed to be used. So if I had level 100 Pokemon,
you couldn't use them.
I couldn't use them because they were restricted, and you could go through the different restrictions that. There's a bunch of little side things that I remember you would beat stuff and it would unlock new restrictions.
Well, and I'm pretty sure that you could make the for lack of a better term, the house characters in the game and stuff like that. You could set them so that it's if you want a 50 and below battle, it's all the Pokemon that were in the game were then at level 50, so that if you went against somebody, it was always
Pokemon,
it was always even ground.
And that was what was cool about Pokemon Stadium too, is you said there was the transfer pack, but I'll be honest, I don't ever remember using it because you could just rent Pokemon that were maxed out.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of the moves weren't what you necessarily
the whole
wanted.
reason I tried to never use the rental Pokemon, because they always had terrible move sets.
What are you talking about? Everybody wants Splash.
Like I said, level 50 Magikarps, anybody? For fuck's sake. But it was just cool to try that. But yeah, I mean, Stadium blew our minds. Stadium 2, I never really played.
That's the game with Gold Silver.
That was
right?
Gold and Silver.
Stadium 2, just unfortunately, I think that one just kind of came and went.
Well, I think it's mostly because the 64 was dying at that point, wasn't it?
It may have been, or they may have already been.
PlayStation was already.
They may have already been focusing at that. Yeah, because N64 came out in 1996. Pokemon Stadium came out in 2000, so I think by 2002, 2003, they were already working towards the GameCube.
Yeah.
And so Pokemon Stadium 2, I think you're right. It did come out near the end of the N64's life cycle, which was already short to begin with because it didn't do that great.
It launched kind of late.
Well, it launched kind of late, but unfortunately, they didn't do the greatest when it came to everybody started going to CD-ROM based, and Nintendo held out and said,
cartridge.
"Nope, we're keeping a cartridge."
Which
and
was-
it was great that there were no load times,
Yeah.
but in the sense of like having to evolve with the times, it was the wrong choice. They should never have done that.
And that's why Nintendo, while I love them to death because their systems have always done gangbusters for me, like even the Wii U, which was kind of a failure, I guess you could say, I've always loved their innovation. It's just they're always kind of one step behind the rest.
So, this is kind of a digression here, but honestly, I am a firm believer that the Wii U, the only reason it failed was because of how it was marketed. It had nothing to do with the games, because even now they're going back to the Wii U games and they're putting them on the Switch.
Yeah.
One by one, they've been putting them on the Switch because they knew these are games that everybody loves.
great.
It's just nobody really had a Wii U in order to play them, so now we can release them, and it's like people are trying them for the first time.
It had a decent library. It's just
It did.
wasn't.
It was because when the Wii came out, it was monumental. It was huge. They sold so many of them.
The system was, anyways.
Well,
the rest of the software.
Yeah,
not so
yeah.
The
But
Wii
that's
had
fine.
great
but the
games.
Wii, what it actually had was it had motion controls, which is
Yeah.
something that most video game consoles weren't really. They couldn't do it. So after that came out, then PlayStation tried to do the PlayStation. What was it? The PlayStation Move or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was the Move.
And then
The Kinect.
Xbox 360 did the Kinect, and so it's like they couldn't do it as well as Nintendo did. So they really innovated and they really raised the bar in that sense. When the Wii U came out, people didn't know, like, well, is this a standalone system or is this an expansion for our Wii? Like, everybody had a Wii,
yeah.
so who wanted a Wii U? It's like, well, I've already got a Wii. I don't need a Wii U. It's a new system. It's like, well, why is it called the Wii U then? It's not a new system. It's probably just an expansion. Well, if it's $300, like, well, why would I want to?
They just followed the naming pattern that Sony set. So
Well, yeah,
but instead of being the Wii 2, it was the Wii U.
yeah, but unfortunately, it didn't distinguish itself enough in order for people to say, well, is this a new system? Should
Yeah.
I buy this? Why should I buy this if I already have this? And so that it was really doomed from the start,
Yeah.
even though it really kind of became the basis of what eventually would become the Switch.
Yeah.
With the big controller that had the screen on top. Now, instead of it just being a screen with your controls on either side, now you have the Joy-Cons where they can connect and remove.
It's a tablet, essentially.
It's a tablet, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really it set the bar. It was a great system, but just it was unfortunately it died because of that.
Yeah, I mean, it had a great library, the Wii U. I love a lot of their games. The only thing that sucked was the original Wii could play GameCube games. The Wii U could not.
Nope.
So with the Wii U, all you had was the Wii U games, the Wii games, which could be played on it, which was still cool. I love backwards compatibility.
Yep.
But you didn't have that GameCube anymore. Which, that's fine. I have a GameCube and that fucking system's sturdy as anything I've ever seen. I love the GameCube.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the Wave Break controllers. Get the fuck out of here. But, yeah, I feel like the Wii U could have... Well, it's essentially the same thing as what happened with the new 3DS, the quote-unquote new one.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I bought a new 3DS. I love it. Battery's much better. It's a bigger system. There is nothing for it other than being able... Xenoblade. I think Fire Emblem
They made
Heroes
They made like 2 or 3 games that were specifically made for the new 3DS, but nothing else.
And nothing really utilized it, which is what the Wii U felt like, is nothing fully pulled its capabilities out.
The only difference is that with the new 3DS, if you bought things on the eShop, the virtual console, you could actually play like Super Nintendo games on, like, you could download them. With the old 3DS, you couldn't do that.
No, the new 3DS had the capability.
It was only Nintendo and like up to Sega Genesis style games,
so.
and that was it.
This is a weird digression point.
It really is.
But anyway, back to Pokemon. So we did Stadium 2. I did not have...
Do you remember? I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
go
sorry.
for it.
Do you remember Pokemon Snap?
Yes.
Fuck you, dude.
That
That game
game
was
Do you remember
terrible.
that? I used to see that all the time in displays, like at Blockbuster, even at the dentist's office. They would
Yeah.
have a kiosk that was Pokemon Snap.
It was a rail shooter.
It was a
It was
Pokemon
such-
rail shooter where you take pictures of Pokemon.
It was the weirdest thing.
Gotta snap them all.
I remember the game's launch thinking, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, but you don't catch anything, so
No.
what's the fucking point?
You just take
I
pictures.
passed right
and
on
the
by.
better the picture is, the higher the score, the
All I
higher
remember-
your picture
like
score
some of the
is.
stuff I remember from that, which was kind of clever, was like the lava level stage where like there's Charmander walking on the edge, and if you hit him with the apples and he fell in, he'd come back out of the lava as Charizard.
Yeah.
And there's little things like
Oh,
that
that's cool.
that's kind of clever, but yeah, the game.
It was interesting to see Pokemon in an environment.
It was.
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like being natural, where you'd see the
Not even-
Rattatas chasing a
Say, it's
Spearow
not
or
even
something.
really natural. It's like watching
Oh,
fucking
no.
It's a Small World. They run on rails too.
But it was the first time you'd ever seen anything like that.
Yeah.
So personally, I passed it by. I was like, oh, that's
My sister
novel.
had it.
And then I kept,
I think that's what a lot of people did.
Yeah.
But I had to bring that up because it's like,
I'm glad you did because I
Oh,
completely forgot about it.
God, Pokemon Snap. I just remember that. And I remember playing it for like one night and just thinking like, this is it? This is it? Like, I don't get to catch anything? I don't get to battle in it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, it was very strange. So I know Pokemon XD. I did not have the first one. I had Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness.
No, it wasn't the first one was Pokemon Coliseum, wasn't it?
Pokemon Coliseum.
There was
did come out,
Coliseum,
yes.
but that was not the same line.
That was not
Pokemon
XD.
XD and Gale of Darkness were two separate games.
Yeah.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. Actually, you were right about Coliseum, though. I forgot about Coliseum.
Coliseum was its
kind
own
of like-
other story game.
It was another stadium, I
It was a
think.
stadium,
But it had
but
its
on the
story mode.
GameCube.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it did have a story. There were actually quite a few like Wii and GameCube games that I never got that I always wanted. I had Battle Revolution, but I think I sold it because the game froze on me like 6 times, and I was like, see ya. I don't think it was the game itself. I just think it was I don't know. But that game's actually really expensive. Battle Revolution.
Battle Revolution?
I think it was for the Wii. It was Diamond Pearl's Battle, Pokemon Stadium, like that generation.
I don't think I even remember that one.
Because Coliseum was Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah.
Because Pokemon, like I said, Pokemon Stadium was the first Red and Blue. Pokemon Stadium 2 was Gold and Silver. Coliseum was Ruby Sapphire. And then Battle Revolution was Diamond Pearl.
Okay.
So it's kind of progressed that way. I don't know if they're even still doing those games.
I don't think so.
But yes, I had Gale of Darkness, which was amazing because it felt like a console Pokemon, but you caught Pokemon by stealing them from other trainers, which was really cool. But they
Which,
had to be like
yeah.
corrupted, quote unquote.
They were the shadow Pokemon. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like infected with this shadow this shadow thing, and you had to like use this snatcher ball or something it was, and you essentially stole Pokemon from the bad guys, and then you had to put them in a purifying chamber surrounded by its buddies, and it purified them, and then you could raise them. But I remember you started the game with an Eevee, and it was cool because you got to choose a stone to determine which Eevee line you wanted. It was really cool.
I have to call you out on this.
Oh god.
So you said Pokemon Battle Revolution is kind of expensive?
I think so. It was when I bought it. It might not be anymore.
What is it? $5?
Complete price? $13.97.
Yeah,
That's super expensive!
well, when I bought it, it was at least $50.
Well, it's probably because it was like new.
No, it wasn't new. I had to buy it at one of the Madison outings.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It was expensive for the time. It's like the network
sucker.
transmission game for Mega Man. It was expensive at the time. Because, I mean, even Heart Gold and Soul Silver aren't that expensive anymore.
Yeah.
And when I sold it, I got, from GameStop, no joke, I got $25 from them.
That's huge.
Oh, yeah. I remember shitting my pants when I sold it to them. I was
Yeah.
like, holy fuck! Only to find out they were selling it for about $100.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Which even that, though, a fourth of the price, that's still pretty fucking good. But, I loved Gale of Darkness. Other than that, like, I played the Mystery Dungeon games, which were the dungeon crawlers. They were kind of cool. It was an interesting... I alluded to Azure Dreams for the PlayStation, where it was grid based, and the system worked like where you make a move and your enemies make a move at the same exact time.
The only thing I didn't like about those games was like that stamina system.
You got hungry. Yeah.
It got to the point where like later on, as you started getting deeper and deeper, like you're like, well, I'm running out of shit. And
Yeah.
it's just there were points where you just felt like you couldn't progress because the stamina was just getting in the way. So
it was which that was a thing in Azure Dreams where if your guy got hungry, and if he got too hungry, like he would start to lose health, but your familiars would also get hungry, and if they lost all their health, they died, and all this other shit. But that's essentially what the mystery dungeon games were. There was a story. I don't remember it, but I remember those games were big. Do you guys remember Pokemon Ranger games?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, those were DS.
Nope.
It was. See, I've always wanted to play them, but I never did. But I remember it was the stylus, and you could draw circles. You had to catch them in the circle or something, and like you would catch certain Pokemon that would do certain things in the environment that would allow you to progress. I should play one of those.
Was Red Pokemon Mystery the Red Rescue Team and the Blue Rescue Team?
It was original DS, I think.
Well, Red Rescue Team was Game Boy Advance, and then Blue was DS. Is that right? Yeah.
They were both DS as far as I knew, because they came out at the same exact time. It was the same idea. Yeah, I don't know why. I didn't even know there was one for the Advance.
Yeah.
Red Mystery. That's weird.
Yeah, it's like basically the same game. You got Red Rescue Team, and then you got Blue Rescue Team. But Red is for the Game Boy Advance, and Blue is for the DS.
That doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I'm like, why is that?
Doesn't make sense. But yes, you're correct, actually, now that I think about it. I have a feeling they did the different platforms to cater to both. Because if I remember correctly, I think the Pokemon Ranger games came out around the time when Advance was kind of making that transition into DS.
Oh, okay.
So it's like they were kind of like, oh, the red one's still for the Advance that wanted to play it, just for people who don't have a DS, and then we'll so it was kind of like that.
That makes sense then. You're still catering to the old system while you're satiating the new fans as well too with their new stuff.
So I'm thinking I never remember seeing the red. I had the blue, obviously, but I think you were right.
Yeah,
the red one was for the Game Boy Advance, because then all the following ones where it had the two, there was like Explorers of Time and Explorers of the Sky, where like another couple, and it was ones like that. But I've never played them. I've always wanted to because it's always been interesting. I know there was Pokemon Trozoi, which was like a weird puzzle game. Yeah,
I don't remember Trozoi.
I think he's making shit up at this point.
I was gonna say God bless you.
Well, you guys remember Pokemon Pinball?
I do.
That was a big
Pokemon
one. That
Pinball.
was Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color. That was Color.
Pokemon Trozoi.
You know what else was Game Boy Color?
What's that?
Pokemon the trading card game.
That's true.
Interesting. I don't even remember that.
It was a weird puzzle. Actually, that's a good one to bring up too. The Pokemon card game for the fucking Game Boy Color.
I love the card game, man.
Okay.
On the Game Boy Color.
Hell yeah, man! Because that was a way you could play the card game without actually having the card.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of game.
Wasn't it like a puzzle game of some sort?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the trading card game was awesome.
Yeah, you could play the game, and it had, I think, up to. I'm pretty sure it had Pokemon cards from like up to Fossil.
Up to Fossil.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I remember you could pull like Mr. Fuji and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. There was quite a few of the base stuff and the.
Nothing like winning because your opponent doesn't draw a Pokemon though.
Oh god.
Oh yeah.
That honestly was the biggest drawback to the game is when you're like, oh, I'm going up to Super Mega Ultra Grandmaster. He drew no basics. You're like, yes! Fuck you! It was so lame. But
and then there were times where it's like it seemed like there was nothing that you could do in order to win. Like the coin flips were against you. Coin flips are always working for the opponent, and I'm just like, this is bullshit.
There actually was a way to rig the coin flip in the game.
Was it really?
Yeah. I can't remember if you hit the button when you saw the Pikachu symbol, and it was heads every single time.
I don't.
There were moves like Egg Bomb for.
It's like holding the up and B or whatever to make your Pokeball a magic.
But this actually worked.
I don't buy it.
There was Egg Bomb for the Executor, where it was 10 for every heads based on how many energy there was?
I think it was 20.
I don't remember what it was. I got every heads. And I would get it every time. I'm pretty sure there was. I can't remember what the trick was, but I remember doing it.
Because it's funny. I still do the same thing where if you are catching a Pokemon up and B using a Great Ball, I've actually caught more Pokemon using a Great Ball than I have an Ultra Ball. But it doesn't actually work.
No.
Same thing with your coin trick.
No, this
doesn't work.
This was true. Somebody somebody out there back me up with it. There was a coin flip thing you could do on the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy that you could actually
Please prove me.
Go to GameFAQs. Look it up.
Please prove me wrong. Obviously, we would love to hear from you, but I think that Andy's lying.
No. Did you know?
Placebo effect.
Yeah.
Did you know there were actually more of those games? Pokemon trading card games for the Game Boys. They just never came out here.
Oh, well, probably with the all the expansions that they've done, it would make sense.
Yeah. Well, what?
I remember there was the guy dressed in the teddy bear, Imaki or something like that. The guy dressed in the teddy bear costume.
Oh my god! What the hell was his name?
Imani?
No. It was like because he had his own card.
He had his own card, which was stupid. It would make you confused, or it would make you it would make you confused.
Did nothing for them, but it would just confuse you.
Unless you had a Pokemon...
No, damn it.
Ikamani or something like that?
Ikamuji or something goofy like that.
But wasn't there a Pokemon, though, that it could do more damage if you were confused?
See, yes.
That's the only one that I would...
Okay, so I'm sorry. Glitches. Coin flips are not random and happen in a predetermined order. To exploit this, use an attack, trainer card, etc. that involves a coin flip. If the flip doesn't come up to what you want... Oh, never mind. This isn't the trick.
Exactly.
But it was there.
It said that it's predetermined. That's different. Yeah, that's
because that's not an orange. It's not a random number generator then, which means fuck that.
Well, there was
which means
there were a lot of games that was random but wasn't random. Shining Force. Your stats based on your level ups were based on how many steps you had taken. So if your level up wasn't what you wanted, you would save before you'd level up, take so many steps, and it would actually boost the numbers. It was very strange and very elaborate. I've never done it.
Stupid. I'm gonna say I don't know. I'm gonna say for other games though, was it Pokemon? What the fuck was the name of the one we were just talking about? The Key.
Key.
Where you put the toys. The DS. It was the DS game for.
Pokemon Rumble.
There we go. Rumble.
Oh, Rumble.
Because you played as these little wind-up toy Pokemon that had moves and you'd go through these fields and it was an action game and you just kind of beat up other Pokemon and at random when you beat them they would drop and you could collect them. And some of the moves were fun. Like what was it? Any of the moves that tracked enemies.
Oh,
which is cheap as hell.
We'll have to play that on the channel sometime. I think I have that for the Wii still.
Oh, do you?
That's right. It was on there too, wasn't it?
It was really fun.
Pokemon Rumble.
It was cool as shit.
They were interesting because it was a very different take on Pokemon, and basically you would just get stronger and stronger Pokemon and then challenge that level's gym, which was just a battle royale in a little arena.
It was kind of weirdly Pokemon Go before Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Because it was...
But there was actual fighting in it.
Yeah. It was really, really interesting, and it was so
And there were
cute.
toys. And
and they were so adorable. They actually came out with a free one.
Did they?
I want to say, because there was a Pokemon Rumble U or something, because it came out on the Wii U as well, but I think it was Black and White generation, if I remember right. It might not have been. It might have been Diamond Pearl. I don't remember.
See, Switch needs one of those.
Ain't that the truth?
I would love that. Do all the generations in it, just make the levels bigger. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
A fucking Pokemon Diablo. I would be sold!
A Diablo Pokemon!
I hate to call you out again.
Uh-oh.
Is it not Rumble?
No. Pokemon Rumble didn't come out on the Wii.
It was weird.
It was only the 3DS.
We had it on the Wii.
There was a sequel, I think.
Then it wasn't called Pokemon Rumble.
No, it was probably something else.
Maybe it's on the Wii U. I don't know. I'd have to plug in my thing and figure out what it was.
Pokemon Battle Revolution, Pokepark.
Nope.
Then it wasn't for the Wii. It must have been for the Wii.
Yeah, I have it on something. I remember we played the shitload of it.
For the 3DS.
No, it wasn't the 3DS. We played it on my television.
But on your television?
Yeah!
You have a television?
I have a television! Because you couldn't connect them to your TV.
Yeah, Pokemon Rumble Blast and Pokemon Rumble World were for the 3DS. Let me see the Wii U here.
Because Justine played it.
Yeah, look it up. I swear there was
I'm looking right now. Hold on, calm down.
I would, but I got a cheap phone.
You won't for much longer.
I didn't motivate this week to go.
Pokken Tournament is the only one on the Wii U, at least according to race trading. I don't know.
It was WiiWare. It was not a physical card.
Oh, it wasn't a physical card.
There you go.
Okay.
Pokemon Rumble, you jackass.
Oh,
For
so
the Wii,
it was WiiWare.
Right, it was
Yes.
not an actual disc.
You dumb dog.
You're a dummy dog. Fucking try to make me look stupid.
That's not hard usually though. So, but no, that was a fun series.
Yeah, it was fun.
Because it was interesting seeing the way the different moves would do stuff. Type difference actually mattered.
Yeah, it mattered a lot. It was a lot of fun.
The game, though, I will say this: there were times when slowdown was an issue. There'd be so much stuff on screen and so many different attacks going, and then if a Pokemon got knocked out and it was one that was dropping, the stars would go up,
Yeah.
and the game just could not handle it.
Was it 2-player or was it only 1? Do you remember? I feel like it could have been 2, but I don't think it was.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was either. But I remember all the Pokemon would have like a CP, quote unquote, where it was so strong, and you could, I think, you could like evolve them once you got a certain amount of something or others. I don't remember.
I just remember finding the new one. Like you'd find the next step and just replace your Pokemon, because you'd release a whole bunch of them. Like you released a whole bunch of Charmanders, and they had the chance to give you like
it would give you a Charmeleon
or a Charmeleon. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Damn, that game was fun.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, the moves that just followed stuff, though. You can just sit back and watch your little orbs tracking everything. And
Yeah. All right, so I can't think of any more side things for Pokemon at this juncture.
board
Can you?
games.
Well, that's true. The board game, the Master Trainer
board
game.
the Master Trainer game. Actually, do you know what was the best? Was when you were playing the Pokemon Master Trainer board game while listening to the To Be a Master Pokemon soundtrack.
Doesn't get any more 90s.
Doesn't it? Do you remember that? Actually, I can't believe I forgot about that. To Be a Master?
Yeah.
You remember that?
I did the I played it while listening to the Pokemon rap. Thank you very much.
So I can still sing the entire Poké Rap.
Don't.
All
Please
150.
don't. Please
No,
don't. Can you?
we're not.
I can.
No.
How long does it take?
Like 3 minutes.
No, that's okay.
We can do it at the
The
close.
Pokemon rap was something. It was at the end of every episode where it would list off all the Pokemon.
It was split up into 5 segments. So that there was one at the end of every day of the week.
Yeah.
You put them all together, and it was
the
the end,
Poké Rap.
all 150. It was the Poké Rap.
Ooh, actually, I remember something else.
The Poké rap.
I remember.
To be a master.
God, no,
Don't
no,
give
Give me
no.
my master.
No.
Pokeball, go!
No.
Go! And woo!
That one I don't remember.
Oh,
But I remember the Pokemon rap, and that was my jam, dude.
Oh, man.
No, there was something else I remember is, was it with the card game? Where when they started designating, like, local areas as, like, gyms, and you could have the people that had the actual pins.
Yeah, the
and
badges.
Like, you could actually earn, like, physical badges.
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Because I think Misha's at one point had some, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, local card shops would have the badge thing.
Not even just that, because I remember Toyworks was actually a Pokemon area.
Yeah.
They had Pokemon tournaments every so often at Toyworks when it was in the old strip mall. Mm-hmm. You remember? Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that, because, like,
I didn't realize that you could actually win real badges.
They were
from
like
that.
these little, like,
that's cool.
they weren't cheap. They're like little metal pins.
Probably
that you
like
could,
resin
put in your, like,
pins and stuff,
lapel
yeah.
and shit like that. Yeah.
Huh.
God, that's so cool.
Oh, cool! I would have gotten a jacket. and I would have been like, "Who?
Bam!
All 12 of them.
You want to see my badge?"
Yeah, I remember that. Holy shit.
Yeah. Like I don't
Amazing.
know what like made me think of those, but yeah, I remember those being a thing for a while because we had like 3 or 4 places around here that you could go to and actually battle.
Oh yeah, I'm sure probably Toys R Us in Racine was probably
I think
one of those.
No, not KB.
Well, Toyworks was KB Toyworks.
Okay, yeah.
The same place.
And I know
It's Rockheads?
there was another
I
game.
doubt
There was
Rockheads
another.
was,
No,
no.
it wasn't Rockheads.
It would
There
have been
was-
the M&M.
M&M.
I think that might have been.
M&M's they did more of the Pokemon stuff. I remember that the guy who used to run it used to do like what he called the Poke Weekends, and so he would do like he would just do this like these events like outside of his store and stuff like that to try to draw people in. And I remember there was one time he was wearing he was dressed up as Blastoise.
Oh my god!
Where he had one of those pool noodles strapped on his back as his like cannon, and he had a pair of goggles on.
Oh my!
And he wore just like and the guy who used to own the store, like he was a big guy too, and so he then just had like a blue T-shirt and blue shorts.
Oh god!
So he dressed up.
That's amazing.
Blastoise.
That's funny as fuck. Did people throw balls at him trying to catch him?
No, they didn't. They totally didn't.
Oh shit.
So, but yeah, I remember him. I don't even know why he would brag about stuff like this, but he told me as just like and I was a kid at the time too, so I'm like, why are you telling me this? He would say that he loved Pokemon because he was making like 20 G's a month just off of Pokemon.
God, yes.
And I'm like,
it.
well, yeah, probably, but it's like, why do you tell your customers this? Like, especially when you're charging $7.99 for a pack that should be $3.49
Yeah.
or $2.99. Like, why are you telling me this? Like, so it's just, it always rubbed me the wrong way after that. But
who you call it? We jackass. Sorry, inside joke. Oh
I'm
yeah.
trying to think if there were any other like side things though.
I remember the Master Trainer board game. If we can ever get a hold of it, I would love to play it.
oh, absolutely.
Just because I remember it being notoriously impossible to win.
I'll only play it under one condition.
What's that?
Paul dresses like Ash.
I totally do it. If you want to give me the hat, I'll do the rest of it.
I would love to. I would love to try and play it on the channel one time.
That means
just
you
for
gotta dress up as
funsies.
Gary.
Hey, I'll be Gary. Be a winner. Fight a dumbass augmented Mewtwo. Oh man.
Fucking Ash. Why? He had it so easy. And he still ended up losing. That's because he's a crap trainer. That's what he is.
Man.
No, that's because he wanted to be friends with his Pokemon, not an overlord.
Yeah, like Gary. Oh, God. But anyway, so we'll move on. As we mentioned, Sword and Shield released, or their trailer released, like, literally the week after we recorded it. The week of the release of our episode. And I want to get your guys' initial thoughts on it. Paul finally saw the trailer for it, because he couldn't give two shits about current-gen Pokemon. He doesn't even have a Switch. Who gives a shit? He still hasn't bought a PS4 for RE2. So fuck this guy. His opinion matters nothingness, as a friend of ours said. But he finally watched the trailer. I want to get your guys' initial reactions.
Go with Paul.
So,
first.
Paul has freshly seen it. What do you think?
So,
Sword and Shield, Gen 8? Gen 8? Yes, I believe it
Is
is.
it 8 or 9?
I want to say it's Gen 8.
I don't care what.
Yeah, it
number is.
doesn't really matter.
But yes, it's coming to the Switch, which is
this
mental.
year,
It's
this year worldwide.
It's the first time a mainline Pokemon is coming to a console.
Yes. So I saw it, and it's. I mean, okay. So the last one I played was X and Y.
Yes, which was
being Y, yeah.
the release of the Fairy type, which
Yes.
there hadn't been a new type since
Dark.
Gold and Silver, Dark and Steel.
Yeah. Well, which I could care two craps less about that because there was never any like the Pokemon that they made retroactively fairy, like Clefairy and Jigglypuff. I never cared two craps about.
Gardevoir, Mawile, Granbull, all of them became this fairy type that wasn't before.
Who cares about Granbull?
Well, Gardevoir it made a big difference in how it played because it was now fairy type. It used to be mainly it was psychic. So now it's psychic fairy, which was great.
Oh, okay.
Because Gallade became psychic fighting when Gallade came out in Diamond Pearl.
Oh well, this is about Sword and Shield.
But anyway,
yes. I saw Sword and Shield, and I mean it looks impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, as any new next gen Pokemon game that comes out, it looks good. It really reminds me a lot of Pokemon Y. Just like it doesn't look like things change much.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I don't know how the controls are going to be. The locations look like they're obviously going to be different, somewhat more.
Thematic.
I don't know the word. No, it's like more. what's the word? Like,
I don't know where he's going.
no, it's like you interact with it more, like you as the person. Like I remember seeing that forest, that dark forest. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
I thought about that. It's more immersive. More
There you go.
immersive was
Yeah.
the word I couldn't think of. The locations look a little bit more immersive like that, where it's like if you're going into a forest, obviously it's not going to be sunny, it's not going to be bright because you are literally
You're in
stuck
it,
under the cover of all these trees, and so you're in the dark forest. So I think that would be really cool to experience that. But as far as like the overall how the gameplay looks, how the battle system is, how everything else is, it really just seems like it's the same.
The same thing that it's always
Yeah.
been. But it's going to be the first time, too, that you're going to be able to play a mainline game on your television. Other than Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu, which was yellow. But now it's the first time you can play it on your TV, which is something we've always wanted to fucking do. Well, I suppose really not.
Because you
could
play with the
technically-
Super Game Boy.
Yeah,
you
with
can
the
play with
Super
the Game Boy
Game
Player.
Boy Player.
It's the first one that's designed for big
for the
screens.
TV.
So now it has the full capabilities of a console on your television, not just a Game Boy version on your TV with a peripheral.
Sure, but then again, it's also the same paint by numbers story where you start off and one of your what's that?
We don't know what the story is.
No, or paint by numbers. I meant. It's
Yeah,
where they're doing the same thing.
The same little
where
berg. And
You've got your starter that's either a fire, water, or grass. It's I don't know. The story might be different, but it's. I just don't know how much you can innovate this game.
Well, there are ways they could if they want to break their formula.
They're not gonna.
They're not going to break their formula for the mainline games, unfortunately.
Too successful in order to do that.
We'll have to see how the typings of the stuff. Let's move. Well, not move on, but let's get. What about you, Kevin? What are your feelings on it so far?
I really like the more like painted-esque art style they went with.
It looks beautiful
Because it's not the very like bland art style they've been using, but it reminds me of what's the PS2 Radiant
Radiant Historia.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit. I can see
it's almost that
Yeah.
like not quite full watercolor painting like that was, but it's almost
It's not
like,
cell shaded.
but it's almost that kind of like in between being like an art and like being the 3D. My only like one of the things I'm kind of towards is character models still don't look great and animations still look stiff as hell.
They don't look too bad.
Granted, all we've seen is early footage.
Yeah.
That could change by the time the game comes out. I don't expect it to change that much though, because I mean it's Game Freak. It's what they do. Copy and paste where they can is what they're known for.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm really looking forward to them revealing what the legendaries will be because they
The
always
specifics. Yeah.
because like for X and Y when they revealed Yveltal and Xerneas, fell in love with Yveltal right off the bat.
I was Xerneas all the way, man.
And then with Solgaleo and
Solgaleo and Lunala.
yeah, Lunala, I liked Lunala right away.
Yeah.
So
I like Solgaleo.
I'm hoping they'll like reveal those, and that'll help me determine which version to get.
Well, I'm hoping too that their typings will kind of reflect what they are. Like, I would love if the version exclusive for Shield would be Steel. You know, and I don't know what the version exclusive of Sword would be. Dragon, maybe? I don't know.
Sword would be Steel as well, though.
But yeah, I suppose it would.
It
so
should be.
It would be cool to see
Unless it
both
has
be
a-
a Steel something.
Unless, both of them would have to have a second type that's specific to them.
Yeah. But
As long as one's not fucking, super effective against the other.
it's true.
I would hate to see like a Steel Fire and then
I honestly was
Steel Water.
I
Yeah,
honestly was gonna say that is like I can see the sword being Steel Fire and then the shield being like Steel Water.
It'd be Kyogre and Groudon all over again.
and I don't want that.
I don't either.
It would be one-sided fight, and
Yeah.
the legendary should never be that way. The main ones, anyways,
Right.
should never be that way. Where it's just, well, this one is clearly the better one in the fight.
Which is why Ruby Sapphire was a bit disappointing on that aspect, because Kyogre whooped Groudon's ass all the time. Because
Yeah.
he was just pure ground, and Kyogre was pure water.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the point? Water is always going to destroy ground.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of with you. The game looks beautiful. I like Paul said, it looks immersive as hell because the camera doesn't look stagnant. It looks like you can kind of freely rotate it, which is something that's never been happening.
I don't know if it'll go that much or if it'll just rotate as you're walking the paths.
Maybe. But even so,
it's still better.
It still looks better than it did when Sun and Moon and X and Y, which I'm glad X and Y kind of did that. It's not... Because Diamond Pearl started where it was like, it wasn't 3D, it was 2.5D, if that makes sense. I don't know what
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Because even Sun and Moon and stuff, you couldn't freely rotate the camera. I'm hoping this one will take it that much further, considering now it's on a console. It's got that extra boost in power.
It's almost like an isometric view, but like a head-on isometric view.
Yeah, so I'm hoping it'll do that. Otherwise, the mechanic, I wish it would have pulled from Let's Go, where you see the Pokemon on the field, and it is not... That's actually one of the biggest
complaints I've seen on, like, message boards for it, is people, like...
It's random encounter again.
Like, the Let's Go games, they were like, you saw all the Pokemon in the field, and it felt like the areas were populated.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, well, now that it looks like it's back to random encounters, it's a big step backwards, and it's one they shouldn't have done.
No. Being able to see and actually avoid Pokemon... Which would have been great. Because, I mean, you could see the fucking Pidgeys rolling around. You could be like, man, fuck those guys. And you could walk around them. Being able to see them in the wild really made it that much more immersive. When you saw that Vulpix pop up, you're like, oh, fuck! I gotta get him! And now you're right. Now it's back on random encounters. Like, now I gotta run from that fucker and waste all this time.
But just remember, though, that was
early footage.
Early footage. It's not final gameplay
But
footage,
it's a mainline game. I don't think they'll do that for the mainline ones. I think they're very steadfast in their design for the main titles.
Wasn't Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, that was somewhat...
Yellow is not considered a mainline game.
It's considered that topper.
It's considered like Crystal and stuff like that, where it's the third in the group.
I didn't realize that those weren't considered like.
No, it's always the pair is the main games.
Yeah. Sword and Shield are the main, and then I don't know what they would. Pokemon Mace. Pokemon Mace.
It's gonna be Pokemon Wizard. Magic Missile.
Oh God. But yeah, I'm disappointed that. But like you said, it's still early. I'm sure it'll be around November because that seems to be when the mainline games have dropped lately. It
usually
is
around
third quarter.
October.
Yeah, third or fourth
October.
quarter.
I think it's...
Yeah, it's usually been October.
November, I think, is what they were saying this year. I think it's November worldwide. Well, from everything I've been gathering, it's fall worldwide. So
which falls in the same category.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, pun intended.
But yes, so I'm really looking forward to it. I will be pre-ordering it probably. Like, see,
that's the other thing I like is that this one's set based off of the United Kingdom.
That'll be cool.
So it's England and like Scotland and stuff like that.
Oh,
so we'll see what they pull from that region's folklore to make into new Pokemon. Because it's supposed to be 80-something new ones.
Yeah, which makes sense.
So
okay.
But it could be good. Or it could be terrible.
I like that lately in these past few generations they've been thematic. Like Pokemon X and Y was France, sort of. It had that French influence.
Yeah, it was Europe.
Yeah, Sun and Moon was obviously Hawaiian. It was like islands and stuff like that. It was really cool.
Yeah.
To see something more English or United Kingdom kind of thing is kind of interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's move on to
however, I gotta say,
the starters.
These starters are the most disappointing starters I think I've seen thus far.
They look like they've been drawn by a 3-year-old. I hate the starters. Score Bunny, honestly, is what I'm gonna go for because the fire one's the only one that looks neat.
It's like the water one is the only one I'm hoping his evolutions will look better. I have a bad feeling that fire's gonna end up firefighting again.
I don't think so. I'm gonna bet you
Fire Fairy.
I'd actually be alright with that.
See,
I was thinking Fire Grass because he's a bunny, he's a rabbit,
or
maybe Fire Grass, which would fuck him. To be honest.
Yeah, it would.
Because then water would be effective on him, unless water
double effective.
Well, no, it wouldn't. It would actually dull
single?
the fire weakness or dull the water weakness for the fire counterpart.
Oh.
Because grass is resistant to water.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it'd be normal.
But it's a fine line. Like I don't know where I want to see it going, but one of my friends was saying Fire Lightning would be kind of cool because it's a rabbit, fast, fast like a rabbit, lightning quick.
No,
that'd be kind of cool.
Not lightning though.
But they usually don't mesh special types like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's hard to say.
I don't. If my big problem is like if they go the same route that
Sun and Moon did.
or yeah, it was Grass Ghost,
Fire Dark,
and then
Water Fairy.
Yeah, if they go that same path again, I might just abandon the starter and go with whatever I start catching. Because it doesn't. They need to move past that
trio
trope of their thing.
I think
It
so.
has to get past that, and I don't see them actually doing it. It's one of the big things that's the problem with
Tried
that.
and true. I mean, it's something
But
that
they have so many different trios they could pull from.
you're right.
So I want them to do more. And like you said, the designs for these ones
I just don't like
aren't
it at
captivating,
all.
really. I mean, maybe we'll see. Maybe like with Sun and Moon, was it? Yeah, Sun and Moon, where they showed like a month after the announcement and the reveal of the basics, they showed the second form, and then a month later they showed the final forms for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if they get better as they go on, I'll reconsider, but I don't know.
That's true, because actually I was Litten all the way when they first announced it, and then they showed what Litten turned into Incineroar.
His second form was still great.
Yeah.
His third form, garbage.
Completely stupid.
Same thing with the water one.
Incineroar no, I love Primarina, actually. Primarina looked amazing.
Decidueye was the only one that was...
Decidueye was
little
the hands
fucking-
down the winner.
With the bow and arrow, and he was...
Do you even know what we're talking about? I'll show you Incineroar. But of the three, which would you choose? I'm going Scorbunny because I think he looks cool.
I'm leaning towards the water one. Because we saw him in the thing doing the invisibility, so like old school Acid Arm or Vaporeon. So maybe he'll end up being, a decent...
I can't believe I'm saying
chameleon.
this. I'm agreeing with Andy.
The bunny?
Honestly, Scorbunny was the only one that really kind of stands out in my mind.
So this was Litten.
Okay.
Looks cool. It was fire. Fire right off the bat. I like
it's
the
fine.
way Litten looked.
Second form was...
I don't know why. Dude, to be honest, I'm lost at that point. I don't even know. So, yeah, I don't remember what the second form was.
Because I remember Rowlet was the first one.
Rowlet was the first, then it went to Dartrix, which was the
Yeah, 'cause
second,
he
which
was like
turned
the emo
into
version. That's
yeah.
right. I loved that.
He went emo for some reason. Then with Primarina, it was Popplio.
Yeah, there we go.
Shit, I had it. I don't even remember what the middle form was. Because it didn't look that different, but then it turned into Primarina, which I loved Primarina because it was Water Fairy. That's what it turned into. Incineroar's the... Doesn't it look stupid? It turned into a wrestler!
Just...
With no fighting moves! It was Fire Dark! It was stupid.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it's like Houndoom.
Houndoom was
Fire
better.
and Dark.
Houndoom looked amazing.
Yeah, Houndoom looked awesome.
Show
but
him the other
it's-
two. The others just
But Incineroar just looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
Show him Rowlets,
Yeah.
especially.
So,
I would say, and it, like the special moves that he got were like that bow move was just ridiculous. It was good. I beat the game basically with him.
Oop, that was Rowlet Evolution line.
Ooh,
That's not it. That's a fan one. God damn it! You'd think by now.
Obviously.
Well, that was
not.
Rowlet. He was adorable. I loved Rowlet.
Okay, he's
I love his little
adorable.
bow.
He's got a cute little bow.
And then he becomes Robin Hood.
Then he turns into Dartrix.
Emo.
He would
Yeah, he's
actually
got that-
flip his
yeah,
hair
he's got
in
that-
battle.
Oh, God.
It was funny watching.
It was
though.
hilarious. And then he would turn into Decidueye.
Oh, that's awesome.
Decidueye
And he
was
had like the
That's
bow.
awesome.
Yeah.
And he shot.
his wing turned into like a bow and arrow, and that was his like special. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was a
that's
ghost
cool.
move, and yeah.
Yeah. What was the other one I
Popplio.
said? Popplio. So we'll continue talking about something.
I don't know.
What
like,
types do you hope it would turn into? Because like I said, Scorbunny I could see as
To be honest, maybe if they merged two of the trio. So do like fire, do what? Psychic, then water, dark, and then grass. What would be the third one?
Steel.
Wait, what did you say? I'm sorry.
It's psychic, dark, and what is the other trio?
Psychic, Dark, and Fighting.
So and then have grass fighting. So that'd be a good if they went and they did two of them like that. I'd be okay with that, and then hopefully their evolutions, like I said, get better looking. But
That was Popplio
Okay.
from that set.
um
No, I liked Popplio actually.
He's okay.
I,
He's aight.
for some reason I can't remember.
Just go to Bulbapedia.
Well, it's weird because it keeps giving me different shit.
Go to Bulbapedia.
I am, and it's still giving me different shit.
No, it's not. Bulbapedia is your one-stop shop for anything Pokemon related.
Cerebi.net.
There we go. It'll show it, but the top middle was its middle form, and then it turned into Primarina.
Actually, Primarina is not bad either.
Primarina was awesome.
Dome!
No, I love Primarina, actually. Its super move was amazing.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that?
Because you guys are dumb. You're stupid. Your opinions don't matter anymore.
Why are you doing that?
But for actually, grass fighting would be kind of cool, but then it would fall into the same category as Breakloom, which Breakloom was garbage because it had way too many weaknesses.
Well, I mean, they always rotate that 3, so as long as it doesn't end up Fire Dark again.
True. And
or firefighting, because that's a combination I am sick of seeing on the starters.
You just doomed it.
Blaziken for the win.
Blaziken, Emboar, Infernape, and then
it's going to switch. It's not going to be Sky Uppercut this time. It's going to be Sky Kick or something stupid.
Because it's a rabbit.
Yes.
Who knows? But I have high hopes for it, as I do every time.
For the game, I do. I'm just hoping the starters.
I'm hoping to see the starters kind of change and turn into something cool.
And actually another line I'm hoping plays a part in this, in the story in some way, is the Age of Slash line.
Yeah,
because they're basically the Sword and Shield. They better play a line in here somewhere.
They better be in it. Because I'm hoping a Scavalier, because the Scavalier became a knight. Bisharp better be in it.
Pawn, and then he went to the Bishop. So
yeah, he wanted to. Yeah, he looked cool as shit. I hope Steel is
the theme.
I hope Steel is a bit more prevalent.
Yeah,
because Steel never. Well, yeah, they've expounded on its typing. It's never really seen a dominance of a typing.
Yeah.
In the mainline games, because Dragon became a dominant type in the fuck was it? Black and White, I want to say.
Yeah.
It kind of became a more prevalent type.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ghost had its time in the sun with it wasn't Diamond and Pearl. No, maybe they really haven't either. No, they have, because you had Goregeist and Chandelure.
Well,
that was Black and White Black and White as well.
That was Black and White. Yeah.
So maybe Dragon did kind of get its time in I suppose Dragon would have gotten its time in X and Y, because Fairy was its counterpart.
What were Palkia and Dialga?
Dragon.
They were Dragon. Steel.
Oh, that's right.
They were both Steel.
No, Steel Psychic and Steel Water.
You know, it's funny.
Oh, I thought
I don't know.
Dragons to me.
Yeah,
I thought they were Dragons something too.
Yeah.
Well, I think they. God damn it.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe that was because Diamond and Pearl was supposed to be kind of the dragons were the kind of the centerpiece of it.
I thought they were Dragon as well. But let me see.
That was something else. I had seen on certain things that people were like, well, given the region it takes place in, they were like Loch Ness Monster Pokemon.
That would be cool.
Palkia was Water Dragon, and I'm pretty sure Dialga was Steel Dragon. So you might be right.
Okay, that might be it.
I thought they were Psychic. They were not.
Okay.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
A Loch Ness Monster, taking their the fairy tales and stuff from around that region.
Although they kind of did that with Dratini and Dragonair. It's kind of like the.
Well, no, I mean,
although they can make
or they can give Lapras an evolution that goes towards it.
Yeah, more of a monstrous thing.
That's what I'm hoping to see. Actually, is more evolutions for Pokemon that deserve it, like Pinsir. Yeah, all right, Pinsir got a Mega Evolution, but who gives a fuck? I loved Scizor from Scyther and Scizor. I thought they were cool as shit. I want to see Pinsir get its time in the sun, because I love Pinsir.
That'll never happen.
Yeah, Lapras should have had.
Lapras would have been cool. Tauros would have been cool to have an evolution.
Actually, something I would like to see pulled in towards this line, especially because Sword and Shield, start pulling in from the Arthur mythos.
Oh, Knights of the Round Table for the trio would have been cool. Arthur and
Merlin,
Lancelot,
Percival.
That would be really fucking cool
Galahad,
to see. Yeah, that would actually be a really interesting thing just for the lead up to.
Or make that the gyms.
Yeah.
Or that would be the perfect thing for them to pull from.
That would be awesome.
Oh my god, calm down.
Instead of calling them gyms, it's castles.
Yeah.
You would get gym badges from the castles. That'd be fucking amazing to see.
That would be kind of cool, actually. I would like that.
Fuck yeah, dude. See, there's
Why
so
don't
much...
we work for you, Nintendo?
Fuck you, Game Freaks. Suck my metaphorical... Well, no,
And
it's not
that's why we don't work for Nintendo. You screwed our chances before we were even offered them.
I'd say Reggie hit us up, but it's not Reggie anymore.
Isn't it Bowser? Something
Yes.
Bowser?
Yes.
He's not. It's
Reggie's
not Reggie.
done.
Reggie retired.
Seriously?
Wait, you didn't know this?
No.
You didn't hear about this? Reggie Fils-Aimé retired.
No,
Or is retiring,
I
I
didn't
should say.
realize
Yeah,
that. Wow.
he's stepping down, and then
His successor is something Bowser.
Something Bowser is
No
now in
joke.
charge of Nintendo of America.
There were memes about it everywhere, Paul. Why don't you get on social media?
You can't make that shit up.
No.
But that's only for Nintendo of America. But it's still,
It's just really funny.
he's been the
is
face of the
funny.
company for so long that it's gonna be weird.
Wow. Wow, wow, that's crazy.
But yeah, like you said, if they were smart, I would love to see Steel as a prevalent type. Make it more of a forerunner. That'd be really cool. I think that'd be really neat.
God damn it! Now I want the fucking Arthur-inspired Pokemon game.
I really do too, and it'd be really cool.
Because it'd be so
It's so
clever.
genius.
Yeah, it fits so perfectly.
And we truly can't be the only people who have thought of that. So, like, that's one thing,
oh my
actually.
god, I want an Excalibur Pokemon.
Wasn't there? Kind of.
No, I mean like an like another like Aegislash, but it's Excalibur and
yeah,
shit.
that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. More weapon Pokemon, let's go!
Maybe that's what the legendary will be in Sword.
Yeah, it'll be a
Just a
sword.
living. It's just
It's gonna
Aegislash.
be a sword and a shield.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it's like Exor.
We'll see now that kind of ruins it, because you like having Aegislash kind of fucked them over, because if they were going to do Sword and Shield, I mean Aegis is already a shield, and then Excalibur would have been the sword.
Oh, that's right.
There's already Aegislash.
He goes from like what is it? Sword.
He goes from just a sword
to dual sword
and then he
sword
gains
and
the shield.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's right, because he could flip between the two modes.
Yeah, he had sword mode and shield mode.
I'm pretty sure that they would not have named these games Sword and Shield unless they had some kind of plan of what the legendaries were going to be.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee. Because they're
Pokemon's
coming
not
out this year. The games are
Yeah.
done at this point, I bet you.
Yeah.
Or at least they're doing finishing touches.
Well, and see, that's the other thing that I'm kind of hopeful for with this one. Because it is on a main console, they could do updates to the game and add more content now.
They could theoretically throw all 1,000 Pokemon in it. With every update, they could do DLC for fuck's sake, unlocking other regions. You never know.
So, like, that's what the one thing that really has me excited about this, because they can do so much more now that it is not limited by what the handhelds were. Like, that was their biggest, like, drawback was, yes, okay, you had the portability back then, and, like, the ability to go trade, but, like, the system wasn't as strong, the battery life was always a problem, like, storage space is a problem. Now, not a problem. You could put up to like a gig into your Switch.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's.
I mean, not a gig, terabyte. Up to,
I knew what you meant.
Yeah,
like a gig would be a little ridiculous.
Their games are what, like 32 gigs? They're on 32 gig cards or something?
Yeah, 32s. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot they could do, and I'd pay for DLC for Pokemon.
Oh hell yeah! If they announced that you could go to other regions or unlock regions Pokemon, hands down, I'd be playing this for months. Absolutely.
I mean, granted, I'll still be done and waiting for you to battle. Like,
Well, of course. Look at us with God Eater 3.
even just Anthem.
Well, I haven't even touched Anthem because I'm still working on God Eater.
I know.
But I'm excited for it. Paul couldn't give less of a shit because he doesn't even have a Switch. He hasn't even played any of them. But you and I know, will have a ball with it. And even Tim. Tim goes all out for Pokemon,
yes,
man.
He does.
So Tim, I don't know if we've ever mentioned this. Tim actually like spearheaded Anime Milwaukee, like its inception.
He was part of the founding group.
He was part of the founding group of Anime Milwaukee, which is big now. It's one of the biggest in the Midwest.
They grew out of their original like vendor halls, like the stuff they had. They had to find new places off campus, I think it was, because it got too big.
Yeah.
But I mean, they went so far as they designated people as gym leaders throughout the convention that you would fight, because obviously everyone knows Pokemon. People bring their 3DSs to conventions because you know how many people walk-bys and stuff where it'll communicate and they had things where it's like a member of the staff would be a quote-unquote gym leader, where he had a themed Pokemon group, and you would fight them to get badges.
Tim was Ghost.
Tim was Ghost.
Yes!
He loved Ghost, man. That's his type.
That's cool.
But, so Tim, will be all over this. And now with the Switch, it's even better. So,
that's one of the only things I see that could be a drawback with this. Because Nintendo now has that, the pay for online.
It's only $10.
I mean, yeah. But I could see them being like, well, here's a bunch of features that are now locked because you don't have online.
I could see local still being fine.
I would be okay with local was still an option, but I could still see certain things being locked behind not having online.
Wasn't there something called Wonder Trade, where you could trade with people around the world?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that'd be the only thing where you'd need that.
Or if they have that...
Fuck it, that'd be cool where I could play you at home.
What was that, in Sun and Moon, where you went to that, amusement park area?
Oh, that stupid thing. Dude, I don't know. I exited that as soon as I possibly
I never went back into it, but I could see that being part of, the online stuff, where you could go into one and see other players in battle and stuff like that. So.
That'd be kind of cool. I don't know. One thing I do hope for the new game, too, and which I loved in Sun and Moon, or Let's Go, was the fact that your Pokemon box followed you around. You did not have to go to the PC in the store, in the Pokemon Center to draw Pokemon out. You literally had all your Pokemon on you all at once.
Oh, wow.
Except that you still had your 6-man battle team, but you could freely choose between them.
You literally had a box in your inventory that, you switched Pokemon through.
It was really cool. And I kind of hope they do something similar to that, where you're not having to go all the way back to a fucking Pokemon Center to trade out your Pokemon.
Yeah, that was kind of nice.
So that I'm hoping for.
I'm hoping for good quality of life improvements in this game.
Me too.
And then, I mean, the games have always been fun, and I just hope they don't
take a step backwards.
Well, I'm hoping they don't lose sight of what they're going forward, while still trying to please an older fan base.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
So, I can see them trying to please too many people at once and falling on their face a bit. I mean, Sun and Moon, my biggest gripe with those games was the first 2 hours is the game holding your hand.
Ugh. Yeah.
If you can give me an option to skip all that kind of crap. So, okay, do you know how to catch Pokemon? Yeah. Okay, we're going to skip this. Do you know how to interact with the world? Yes. Okay, we can skip all of this crap. You're dropped into the world, just go.
Yeah. I'm hoping, too, the professor's not a douche trying to bang my mom.
Although, that's a question. What will
Professor Kukui, or whatever, where he just, some shirtless douche.
Yo,
brah!
Your cousin?
No, I thought it was the professor. I didn't think he was your cousin.
The one that always showed up? At the house? Or are you talking about, the old man?
It was the professor of Sun and Moon.
You're his cousin or something like that, so...
I didn't think so. It was your mom's cousin, I think.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
But it wasn't your cousin. It was
whatever, he's a cousin somehow. Yeah, but it's weird.
It still felt like he was trying to bang your mom. It was really awkward.
Oh, God.
But I hated that professor. He was so stupid. But I hope they do something interesting.
Well, I didn't say at this point. Usually, so how many generations where the professors were named after trees? Because oak and all them.
Oak, birch. I'm drawing up I don't know. I drew up Elm. Professor Elm. Dude, I don't know. I lost track.
But then, it switched. Yeah, Sun and Moon was very different on the professor name. Yeah. So are they going to jump on this one and do something very, localized theme? Or do you think they'll jump to, the tree names, or...
I don't know. I like the idea of the rival thing. They've kind of strayed away from the rival system to where you have, you have a friend who has, your weakness, and then you kind of did have a rival who had your I don't remember how it went. Man, fuck it. There's a lot of things we could talk about, but I have high hopes. I'm hoping it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure we'll have a spat or a talk about it too once the game comes out, and we'll go from there. But I think that'll do it for this episode, man. So Paul's sitting there glass-eyed because he couldn't give two shits about this generation.
You lost me.
We lost him. But let us know what you guys think. What would you love to see in this latest generation of Pokemon? What are some typings you'd love to see the starters turn into? Just what were some of the the off the beaten path games, off the mainline games that you guys played that you absolutely loved. I mean,
what were some of your favorite Pokemon?
Yeah.
Were they very popular Pokemon, or were they Pokemon that people just kind of forgot about and didn't even know were really
Or
there?
stupid ones like Pinsir.
oh, fuck
Yeah.
you, dude. I loved Pinsir.
If you like Pinsir, you don't have to comment.
Man, fuck yourself. What's a type that you would love to see get brought to the forefront that really hasn't been showcased enough?
Or what's a brand new type you could think of that might be interesting to see?
Yeah. Because, I mean, there was that one game that got, that was released that had the nuclear type not that long ago.
That fan-made one?
Yeah, that fan-made game. It got shut down, I think, just like the remake of Metroid 2. It was, fuck me, why can't I remember?
They had
what it was called?
hundreds of new Pokemon too.
It was cool. It was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
What are some just knockoff games that you remember that you possibly played?
Good.
That's all I got.
Yeah, I lost my thoughts, so we're good.
Well, great.
Wonderful.
Check out our main channel on YouTube where we're playing through the Nintendo collection. 678 games. We're on 164 now, 165. Working our way through it.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
What are some games you like to see us play? Just on other systems, because we do that kind of shit on our side quests.
Yes, we do. We'll play side quests. We'll do our main quest. You can watch us go to video game stores and look for games and just collect and talk about things in general.
Yes.
Hopefully by the time Pokemon releases, we might be able to capture some of that game.
I'm hoping.
So
I'm really hoping.
Because
What are some
we
things?
could play a game.
Oh, hell yeah. What are some things you'd like to see us possibly do? Just maybe not even game related.
Or things that you want us to talk about.
Would you be interested in watching us play some board games? Get us a group of our friends, do a camera, and watch us play some stuff?
Absolutely.
Just let us know. Talk to us. Comment, please.
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube comments.
Anything.
Anything. Please.
We gotta. Yeah.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
Not anything. We don't have a Pornhub channel. Yet.
Coming next episode.
So there you go, guys. That is another Power Trip Gaming Powercast.
Now you're listening with
power.
You did it again, Paul. He didn't let you have your own line.
He did. That's fine.
Because
fine,
that's the thing.
because you can choose to do with this what you will. But okay, guys, we gotta wrap some Pokemon.
Oh, no.
You
No.
just do the singing.
No.
I'll take care of the
Yes!
hard part.
Do it.
Let's
Do the
get
whole
it
thing.
on. I want to be the best there ever was. To beat all the rest. Yeah, that's my cause. Electro, Diglett, Nidoran, Meki, Venusaur, Rattata, Fearow, Pidgey, Seeking, Jolteon, Dragonite, Gastly, Ponyta, Vaporeon, Poliwrath, Butterfree. Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon, I search across the land, look for red wine, release from my hands the powers that's inside. Venomoth, Poliwag, Nidorino, Golduck, Ivysaur, Grimer, Victreebel, Moltres, Nidoking, Farfetch'd, Abra, Jigglypuff, Kingler, Rhyhorn, Clefable, Wigglytuff. Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon! Zubat, Primeape, Meowth, Onix, Geodude, Rapidash, Minotaur, Snorlax, Gengar, Tangela, Goldeen, Spearow, Weezing, Seal, Gyarados, Slowbro! Gotta catch 'em all, yeah! Gotta catch 'em all, yeah! Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon! Ow! Kabuto, Persian, Parasaur, Raticate, Manamite, Dabra, Whittenbell, Ditto, Cloyster, Caterpie, Sandshrew, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Golem, Pikachu! At least 150 I born to see. To be a Pokemon Master is my destiny. Alakazam, Doduo, Venonat, Macho, Kangaskhan, Hypno, Electabuzz, Flareon, Blastoise, Poliwhirl, Oddish, Drowsy, Raichu, Nidoqueen, Bellsprout, Starmie! Woo! We're at the halfway point. You're doing great so far. Wii, what's all this Wii stuff? I'm doing all the hard work. Break time's over. Here we go. Metapod,
Sorry. Keep going.
Metapod, Marowak, Kakuna, Claveri, Dodrio, Seadra, Vileplume, Krabby, Lickitung, Tauros, Weedle, Nidoran, Machop, Shelder, Porygon, Hitmontang, gotta catch 'em all, yeah, gotta catch 'em all, ooh, Articuno, Jinx, Nidorina, Beedrill, Haunter, Squirtle, Chansey, Pokemon, Parasect, Execute, Muck, Dugong, Pidgeotto, Lapras, Vulpix, right on! At least 150, hop on to see, to be a Pokemon master is my destiny.
I'm sweating so hard.
Charizard, Machamp, Pinsir, Golfing, Dugtrio, Golbat, Staryu, Magikarp, Ninetales, Ekans, Omastar, Scyther, Tentacool, Dragonite, Magmar! Woo!
Magmar!
Shake out those lips. It's downhill from here. Just 24 more to go. But now it gets tricky, so listen real good. Sandslash, Himwali, Psyduck, Arcanine, Eevee, Executor, Kabutops, Zapdos, Dratini, Growlithe, Mr. Cubone, Graveler, Voltorb, Gloom. We're almost home! Gotta catch 'em all, yeah! Gotta catch 'em all, Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon! Ow! Charmeleon, Wartortle, Mewtwo, Tentacruel, Aerodactyl, Ammonite, Slowpoke, Pidgeot, Arbok. That's all, folks! Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon! Gotta catch 'em all.
Oh my god, he did it twice.
Catch 'em all, Pokemon! Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon! Woo!
And now this episode will be flagged and we will lose everything.
Oh, man. No, because he did it so poorly.
I said do what you want with it. I don't even care if it's in.
Oh, man, that was
had to
amazing.
get it out.
You had to get it out. That was his Pokegasm.
Oh, God.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But that was the Poke Rap from the end of every episode. I haven't heard, like, all of it. That was amazing.
I even throw the flavor text in there, too.
I knew, I loved it.
I even know that.
Paul, I just don't know.